good evening everyone. Good evening to the online students as well. So again we are going to discuss about important international and national organizations to document. I think the sessions for international organizations has been done, and I would be taking all the important national organizations which were there in news. So we need to first understand how exactly UPSC asks questions from these topics in the examination. So firstly, please be very much clear, questions would not be directly coming from the topics which we will be discussing. But as there are 100 questions in prelims examination, and in some questions, of course, you are going to eliminate options, you are going to check whether one or two options are correct or not. This is where these facts are going to help you down. So as far as prelims examination is concerned, there are certain standalone topics which are supposed to be read separately from the statutory subjects what you're reading. For example, all important national parks, all species in news, all major rivers, their tributaries, right? All of these are standalone topics. Again, in a similar manner, all government schemes and these national, international organizations which were there in news in last 1 year, right? That's how they become a statement in one of the questions in the examination. So as far as national organizations are concerned, we have been categorizing it into basically broadly two categories. Some organizations have their name or have their functions mentioned in the Constitution of India. So all of these organizations and specifically the bodies are called as constitutional bodies. So what are constitutional bodies? So any body who has its genesis mentioned in the Constitution of India, those bodies are called as constitutional bodies. So this could be one statement. Let's say they're talking about, they give you questions like, consider the following statements regarding Election Commission of India. Elections is in news, very important topic for this year's examination. Rajya Sabha elections, state legislative elections are happening, right? So the Election Commission, SIR is in news, right? So Election Commission as a body is very important for this year's UPSC examination. So please look forward for that particular topic. So again, they can ask you, Election Commission is a constitutional body or Election Commission is a statutory body, right? So this is where these statements could help you down to solve questions in the examination. And then there are certain statutory bodies. What is a statute? Statute is basically a law. If any act of a parliament is creating any specific body for that particular purpose, that will be called as a statutory body. And there are some bodies which are neither constitutional nor statutory, but they have been created through an executive order. So there are different kind of bodies, right? So broadly, this is one important segment of understanding any body, that you need to understand what is its source of power. उसको पावर दे कौन रहा है, क्या कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन पावर दे रहा है या फिर एक लॉ पावर दे रहा है या फिर एक एग्जीक्यूटिव ऑर्डर के तरीके से इट हैज बीन originating. So you need to refer that. So the first body we are going to read about here is Union Public Service Commission, very important for this year examination. Sometimes some bodies, some important personalities come in news as they are celebrating 100 years of its composition. That's why UPSC is in news. Why? Because in 25 October we had this 100 years of genesis of Union Public Service Commission. So again, we will discuss that how exactly the genesis basically started, right? So if you look at in 1924, there was a Lee Commission. So again, they can ask you questions just like that. Consider the following statements around Lee Commission, right? From history, of course, there would be questions like this. So here, Lee Commission basically was a commission which was being set up, and basically it recommended creation of public service commissions in India, right? And of course, this is where we started independently creating a body which is going to go for civil services recruitments in India. So again, very important, Lee Commission in the year 1924. Then in the year 1926, the first Public Service Commission of India was established, and again it was an initial step towards a recruitment process for civil servants in India. Then in 1935, Government of India Act of 1935 set up the first Federal Public Service Commission. This was again renamed after we got independent in the 1947. It was called as Union Public Service Commission, right? So that's the basic idea. So again, the genesis started with the Lee Commission of 1924. Then in 1926, we had this our first Public Service Commission. Then the Government of India Act of 1935 created the Federal Public Service Commission, and lastly, it was renamed as Union Public Service Commission, and again it has been mentioned in the Constitution of India under Articles 315 to 323. That's the basic idea. So what exactly is the membership? So whenever you're reading different kind of constitutional bodies, you might face difficulty in, you will read and you will understand it very easily, but once questions come up, there are some terms and some of the facts which makes answers confusing in the examination. Okay, let's say, are the members of Union Public Service Commission eligible for reappointment? What is their let's say retirement age? What are their appointment process? How they can be removed, right? So for that, I would suggest please make a chart, right? So write down all the basic terms. What are their terms? Who appoints them? Who removes them? What are the service conditions? Basic ideas, and just write down facts around those constitutional bodies so that you can remember and you can solve questions easily in the examination, right? So if you look at here, this is basically what is the task of Union Public Service Commission. Again, recruitment of civil servants in India, right? So that is a basic, it is basically a constitutional body because it has been mentioned in the Constitution of India under Article 315 to 323. No need to remember articles specifically for the examination, but again roughly you should understand what is the nature and the number of articles which are relating to UPSC mentioned in part 14. Then who again, all the appointments of all bodies in India, all posts in India are done by whom? कौन करता है? सारे appointments, all executive authority has been vested with the President of India. Of course, he is acting on the aid and advice of Council of Ministers, but again, in reality, every executive action is being done in the name of President of India. So all important constitutional posts and appointments are being done by President of India, right? Then we are seeing again the chairman and the members are appointed by President of India. And what would be the strength of UPSC? Again, it is being determined by the presidential strength. कि UPSC में कितने members होंगे ये कौन बताता है? President of India. So technically who? Technically who? The government. That is the executive organ, because again President is not acting on his own discretion, he is acting on the aid and advice of Council of Ministers, right? So in this there is a criteria that 50% of the members must have 10 years of government service, right? Then what is their tenure? Very important. They are having the term of 6 years or until they attain the age of 65 years, whichever is earlier. Basic facts hai. Then how they can be removed? So basically there are 4 grounds on which they can be removed. Again, यहाँ पे आएगा questions in examination of prelims. They can be removed if they are found as insolvent. Insolvent मतलब if they are declared as bankrupt. Then if they are employed, they be engaged in any external paid employment apart from UPSC. That is the ground of let's say disqualification. Then physical and mental unfitness, and lastly misbehavior. For all these factors, all these disqualification, President can directly remove the members of UPSC, but if any charge of misbehavior has been imposed on the member of UPSC, then the President should consult the Supreme Court of India mandatorily. अगर removal के दौरान misbehavior का factor आ रहा है और criteria आ रहा है, then it is telling that in case of misbehavior, the President refers the matter to Supreme Court, and the advice given by Supreme Court. Supreme Court, of course, will investigate that what kind of misbehavior has been done, what is the matter, and then it is going to submit its report to the President of India, and that is binding on the President of India. So misbehavior includes holding interest in government contracts. So that's how it is. That's the basic fundamentals. Then independence, honest safeguards. Why? Whenever you are going to read about different kind of constitutional bodies in India, so they have to be made independent from the control of the executive. Why? Because they are the ones who are recruiting different kind of civil servants in India, but again their functioning has to be little bit independent so that they can work in an impartial manner. To impose impartiality in their functioning, some kind of independent characteristics have been imposed on Union Public Service Commission. Number one, their service conditions cannot be altered. मतलब आपका अपॉइंटमेंट हो गया, आपकी सर्विस कंडीशंस उसको चेंज नहीं करेंगे आफ्टर दैट अपॉइंटमेंट हैज बीन डन. नंबर वन. नंबर टू, you must have read there are two kind of funds. One are, some funds are charged on consolidated fund of India and some are voted funds, right? So what are non-charged funds? Which require, let's say if I want to take out money from consolidated fund of India, I have to take the approval of Parliament. There are three funds. What are three funds? Number one is consolidated fund of India, then contingency fund of India and public accounts. So if I want to take out money from consolidated fund of India, I need approval of the Parliament. If I want to take out money from the contingency fund and public accounts, I need approval of, no, again, of course, it is under the control of President, but again, it is basically under the executive control, not under the control of Parliament, right? So there are some funds. Maybe if I tell ki every time I want to draw the salary of UPSC, I need to take approval of the Parliament of India. So again, this is, there are salaries and allowances which are basically charged expenditure. They are not required to be voted by Parliament every time. So again, this is just to, let's say, ensure their impartial functioning. They are basically charged expenditure. And then the chairman is barred from further employment. Technically, if the person who is the chairman of UPSC, if he starts favoring the government with a idea or with a hope that I can be reappointed to any other post or any other, let's say, functionary, then he could start maybe favoring the government, and that's why these provisions have been ensured, so that again the functioning of these bodies are done in an independent manner. So of course they are, the chairman, of course, he is barred from any government employment further, but as I discussed, there are some members also. If there is a chairman of UPSC, there are few members of UPSC as well. So again, the members are not barred from further employment. They can become the chairman of UPSC, or they can become the chairman of different state public service commissions. But the chairman of UPSC is barred from any further government employment, right? Then functions kya karti hai? Again, it conducts all India services examinations, central services and services of UT. Then it assists the states in joint recruitment on request, where again the states who do not have their public service commission of their own, they can request UPSC to conduct examinations on their own behalf. And then the reporting. So every year the UPSC submits its report to the President of India. Parliament को नहीं करता है. UPSC submits its report to President of India, and then President of India lays it to the Parliament. Right, so this is where questions could be asked. UPSC lays down its report to Parliament of India. No, the UPSC gives its report to the President, and then President lays it out to the Parliament of India with reasons of non-acceptance of any advice, if any. So basic functions hai about UPSC, very important for examination. But again, remember these two committees and the genesis. 100 years ho gaya hai, so you need to remember that very carefully, very important for this year's examination. Then, Cabinet Secretary is the, yes. नहीं, it came, that is the basic genesis. That is the basic genesis. यहाँ से ली कमीशन आया पहले, उन्होंने बोला कि इंडिया में क्या होनी चाहिए, सर्विस कमीशन होनी चाहिए. Then we had this first public service commission which was established in the year 1926, and then उसके पहले आप जाओगे चार्टर एक्ट में तो बहुत पुराना हो गया. बट अगेन दिस इज हाउ जेनेसिस स्टार्टेड फ्रॉम हियर इन टर्म्स ऑफ दिस. ठीक है, राइट, okay. Then we have the Comptroller and Auditor General of India, that is CAG. So what is the task of a CAG? What is the task of CAG? काम क्या करती है CAG? So technically the amount of money which is being spent by government of India, that has to be again audited. So this is where an independent body has been created, a constitutional body has been created, that is Comptroller and Auditor General of India, who is auditing the government purses. Once the money is being spent out of the Consolidated Fund of India or any of the funds, they are audited by CAG. So again, very important thing, you must have seen there are many provisions of the Constitution of India which we have been borrowed from the Constitution different parts of the world, right? So the office of CAG has been borrowed from which constitution? Very good. The office of CAG has been borrowed from the Constitution of United UK, right? So that is the idea you need to understand. So जब भी पढ़ेंगे ऐसे चीज़ों को, please remember कि which functions or which body has been borrowed or which idea has been borrowed from which constitutions of the world. ठीक है? So this is where we are going to start with this. Again, CAG ने बोला है कि we are going to have a separate unit for auditing public sector units. That's the basic news, but again the article itself, the body itself is very important for the examination. So basically it is the head of Indian Audit and Accounts Department coming under Article 148 by the President of India. Again, CAG again here is what? Not eligible for reappointment in any of the central and state government jobs. Then duties, of course, they are to the extent of their duties, they are listed in CAGs. Now, CAG काम क्या करेगी ये कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में लिखा नहीं है. सो अगेन दिस इज वेरी अगेन a catch for the examination. The functions and the duties of CAGs are mentioned in the Constitution of India. The answer would be no. They are made by Parliament of India. So Parliament is empowered to make rules and regulations regarding the functioning of CAG in India, and this is where you need to understand CAG duties, powers and conditions. Service Act has been passed by Parliament in 1971, which defines what exactly will be the rules, powers and conditions of CAG. Then the membership is 6 years or up to 65 years, which is very earlier, and then how they can be removed. They can be removed by President of on India on the same grounds and in same manner as a judge of Supreme Court. So again, you need to also understand how exactly a judge of Supreme Court of India is removed. So CAG is removed just like the judge of a Supreme Court and on the same grounds. क्या grounds है removal of judge का? Proven misbehavior and incapacity. These are the two grounds on which judge of Supreme Court can be removed. Do we have any definition of proven misbehavior or incapacity in the Constitution of India? No. Again, incorrect. Then basically in the office of CAG has been borrowed from the Constitution of UK. So there are two terms, Comptroller and Auditor General. So technically in India it is only doing the task of Auditor General. It is not doing the task of Comptroller. Comptroller का मतलब क्या होता है? Basically who is authorizing the spending from the funds of government. So that is the power given to Parliament in case of Consolidated Fund of India and executive in terms of contingency fund and public accounts. So CAG only comes into picture once money has been spent by the government. It is only doing the task of auditing the amount. But again, in UK on the other hand, the CAG is again authorized to go for both Comptroller and Auditor tasks. That's a basic function. So duty of CAG arises only after the expenditure has been incurred. Then CAG again, it will submit its report to whom? Again, the President, and the President would lay down to the Parliament. Then the CAG reports on the execution of projects or programs by the ministers are discussed by Public Accounts Committee. You must have read about different parliamentary committees, right? So again, please read them very carefully, very important for your examinations. Public Account Committee तो बहुत बार पूछा UPSC ने, and again in different CDS and CAPF examinations. So that body is very important, that committee. So this CAG, once it's comes up with its report, that report is being discussed by Public Accounts Committee of the Parliament. Okay? And then information from CAG reports can be used by any other investigating agencies to press charges on court of law. For example, if some of the money of the government has been spent in an unauthorized manner, it would be there in the audit of the CAG. So then it could be used by any of these investigating agencies like CBI or CVC or let's say maybe Lokpals, anywhere. The reports could be used out to go for investigation. Technically, kahan hoga in the matters of corruption, right? That's how it is. So हाँ, कहाँ से कहाँ पहुँच जा रहे हो? Let's stick to the topics. We will discuss all the doubts after the end of the class. ठीक है. Then the idea of CAG in India versus CAG in Britain, very important. The role here is of only of Auditor General. Here the role is of both Comptroller and Auditor. What is the meaning of Comptroller? It means it is controlling the issue of money from public exchequer. यहाँ पर इंडिया में no control. पैसा निकालेगा कौन? Either Parliament from Consolidated Fund of India and plus from public account and from where? Contingency. Who has the power? Executive has the power. Technically, contingency fund is in the control of president, but again, authority is with the executive itself, right? Then audit, it is ex post audit. Matlab, once money is being spent, then audit is being done. Here, pre-control is there because it is also authorizing the supply of or the taking out of money from the public exchequer. Then power over expenditure, it cannot have any power with respect to approving or stopping any kind of expenditure by the government, but here no money can be withdrawn without the approval of CAG in UK. Then is the CAG a member of parliament? No, but technically understand ki if in UK CAG is authorizing the expenditure of money, so of course it should be a member of their parliament. Yes, they are a member of House of Commons, just like we have House of People here, Lok Sabha, they have House of Commons. That's the basic difference between CAG and of India and Britain. I think one question was asked in the year 2012. Just look at the question and tell me what would be the answer to this particular question. Online students, please tell in the comment. In India, other than ensuring that public funds are used efficiently and for intended purpose, what is the importance of office of CAG, that is Comptroller and Auditor General? So CAG exercises exchequer control on behalf of Parliament when the President of India declares national emergency and financial emergency. Basically बोल रहा है कि जब country में लग जाएगा emergency, then CAG is the one who is going to authorize us taking out of money from the funds of India. Is it true? We have seen in India CAG is only doing the task of auditing, not the task of taking out money. So of course this option is here is incorrect. Even in matters of national emergency and financial emergency, the power lies with the executive, and in case of consolidated fund, the parliament. CAG reports on the execution of projects or programs by ministries are discussed by Public Accounts Committee. I have discussed that once CAG submits its report, we have a parliamentary committee with the name of Public Account Committee, and that committee is basically examining the report of CAG. So this is option is correct. Information from CAG reports can be used by investigating agencies to press charges against those who have violated the law while managing public finances. We have seen, yes, of course, it is if it is auditing the finances of government, and if in the audit report some discrepancy has been found out, so yes, the investigating agencies such as CBI, CVC, they can use the reports of CAG for pressing the charges. Of course, this is correct. Then, while dealing with the audit and accounting of government companies, CAG has certain judicial powers for the purpose of those who violate the law. It does not have any judicial powers. There are many bodies in India who have been given some kind of judicial powers, को बोलते हैं quasi judicial bodies. There has been no judicial powers which has been given to CAG. It is only doing the task of auditing. That's it. Nothing else. Right? So this option is incorrect. Maybe this is where they will try to confuse you. Ki there are many bodies in India who have been given some kind of judicial functions. Election Commission, yes. Then UPSC, yes, sometimes it has a quasi-judicial function, but again in case of CAG, only doing the task of auditing, nothing else. So what would be the correct answer for this? A, B, C or D? C, that is only 2 and 3 are correct over here. That is the nature of question of RBI examination. Then next is Attorney General of India. So in India, if I ask you, the executive of India consists of, we have 3 organs of government: executive, legislature and judiciary. So the legislature of India consists of President, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Similarly, the executive of India consists of President, then Vice President, then Prime Minister, then Council of Ministers, and then lastly Attorney General of India. So Attorney General of India is the highest law officer of the government of India. So he is basically the one who is advising governments in the matters of any legal matters. So he is basically the law officer of the government of India, that is Attorney General of India. Just like we have Attorney General of India, it is basically which kind of body? कहाँ mention इसका? Constitution में, so of course it is going to be a constitutional body. Just like we have Attorney General of India, for which is the highest law officer for government of India at union level, similarly a body is there at state, that is Advocate General of State. That is a basic difference. ठीक है, यही है. So again, Article 76 talks about the Attorney General of India. So basically कौन करेगा appointment? Every appointment in India is done by the under his hand and seal. Then what is the eligibility to become the Attorney General of India? He has to be just eligible, just like a judge of Supreme Court. So you must have read about judiciary. What is the qualification in India to become a judge of Supreme Court? Number one, he has to be a citizen of India. Then he has to be either a sub or a, and it is and plus he has to be a judge of any high court for 5 years, or he has to be an advocate for some high courts for 10 years, or he has to be an eminent jurist. So citizen is one criteria, plus 5 years of a high court judge, or he can be 10 years of this, or he could be an eminent jurist. So these are the conditions to become a judge of Supreme Court, which is again a similar criteria to become the Attorney General of India. Yes. Eminent jurist, because there are some persons who may not have let's say they may not be a judge or they may not be an advocate, but they must have an high experience of law, maybe different kind of professors, law professors ho gaye. So again, this is where they, again under the eyes of executive, if they feel that these persons have a considerable let's say experience in the field of law, they must have written different kind of law books or something like that, so they are considered as eminent jurist. That's a basic understanding. Okay. Then term of removal, again term of office, there is no term which has been mentioned by the constitution. Basically this is the only body as it is coming, which kind of body it is? Executive, right? So technically here he is holding his office until the pleasure of President of India. So constitution nowhere mentions what would be its term, what would be its service conditions. Everything is determined by the President of India. By president I mean what? Yes, the government, the executive, right? So here removal, again the constitution does not contain any procedure and ground for removal. He holds office during the pleasure of president. You might get confused here as he is maybe having qualifications just like a Supreme Court judge, so he might be again removed just like a judge Supreme Court. So this is incorrect. So exceptions को ही आपको याद रखना है, nothing else, right? Then what are the rights and act? So again he has a right of audience in all courts in Indian territory. All courts का मतलब any court of India, whether it is Supreme Court, High Court, lower courts, all courts he have a right to attend. Why? Because he is a law officer of the government. So then in any matter, you must have seen in majority of cases which are there in the courts of India, one of the litigant is the government. So again, he will be the one who will be representing government in cases which are there in the Supreme Court and High Court. So again, he has a right, again we'll discuss that, he has a right to speak and take part in proceedings of both the House of Parliament. Very important function and very important point for examination, that the Attorney General of India, can he participate in the proceedings of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha? Option is correct. Can he vote? No, because technically he is not a member of parliament. So how can we give him right to vote? Voting का power किसको मिलेगा? जिसको लोगों ने चुना है, elections हुआ है उनका, right? Right. So this is where he can take part in proceedings of both the houses and in case of joint sitting as well. And then अगर कोई committee बनती है, right, wherein the parliament of which he may or be named as a member, then he has a power to attend meetings of those committees as well. If there is any parliamentary committee and Attorney General is its member, then he has a power to attend meetings of those committees as well. But again, he does not have any point of time, he has a right to vote. Then he enjoys all privileges, all immunities which are enjoyed by the members of parliament. Very, very, very important facts. Then limitations. He not, Mickey, technically, if you are a law officer of the government, how can you advise someone against the government? That's the basic idea. So he cannot advise or hold a brief against government of India, and then he is not supposed to defend any accused person in criminal prosecutions without the permission of government of India. So maybe this is where it is again giving you an understanding. Kya CAG, or sorry, can the Attorney General practice privately law? Yes or no? Yes, but again he has to first take, in such instances, take permission of the government, right? This is where he cannot defend accused person in criminal prosecutions without the permission of government of India, and then he cannot accept any appointment as a director in any company or corporation without the permission of कर बन सकते हैं डायरेक्टर, but again क्या होगा, condition is he has to take permission of government of India. Then what are the functions? He gives advice of any legal matter to the government, to the president. Then he appear on behalf of government of India in all cases which are there in Supreme Court and High Courts in which government of India is of course concerned. Then he represents government of India in any reference made by the president to Supreme Court under Article 143. Very important. What is Article 143? Advisory jurisdiction of Supreme Court. What is advisory jurisdiction of Supreme Court? What is the president can ask for any matter of law and fact to Supreme Court of India. Then again, is Supreme Court bound to give advice? No. Then if Supreme Court has given an advice, is President bound to accept that advice? No. That is the advisory jurisdiction of Supreme Court. Recently it was in news. Why? Because in 2023, what has happened? Governor's power to sit on the bills. It was again, maybe Supreme Court came with a directive that again you have to give assent to bill within 3 months. So this was questioned by the President of India currently, that again are you authorized in fact to give time limit or to set time limits, and this is where the decision has been reversed. So this is where this Article 143 was used recently. So they can ask you, ki recently 143 was used by President of India in which case? In the governor's assent to bill cases, right? That's how it is. Then we have other law officers of the government of India, that are the Solicitor General of India and what? Additional Solicitor General of India. So basically Attorney General ke alawa there are other law officers, but again the Solicitor General of India and other Solicitor Generals, they are not mentioned in the Constitution. Constitution में नहीं लिखा है, तो कहाँ लिखा है? Parliament through a law, or maybe executive through a rules. There is rules, that is Law Officers Conditions of Service Rules of 1987. They talk about the idea of Solicitor General of India. So basically they are the ones, they are not allowed to participate just like the Attorney General in the Houses of Parliament or committee meetings. They are not allowed to do so, and that's how it is. So very important topic for examination. I'll give you some questions which has been asked not by UPSC. These questions have been asked by in CAPF examinations and in serious examination, although they're conducted by UPSC. So again, please at least go through the questions of polity at least, which has been asked by these papers of UPSC in serious and CAPF, right? So again, the first question here, I think this was CAPF 21 or 23. Which one of the following statements about Attorney General of India is not correct? Again, very important, whenever you are in your examination hall, of course there is a lot of pressure situation over there, and in that situation we tend to overlook the question statements. This is where please be very clear whether they are asking correct or not correct. So they are asking which statements are not correct. So we have discussed about Attorney General. The person must be qualified to be appointed as a judge of Supreme Court. ये सही है, तो condition ही है उसकी, of course correct. He or she enjoys right of audience only in Supreme Court and High Courts of India. देखो यहाँ आ गया थोड़ा सा. Although UPSC has become quite smarter these days, वो जानबूझ के देता है आपको extreme statements, because बच्चों के दिमाग में बैठ चुका है extreme statements are incorrect. So again, please don't get into that trap कि extreme statements है तो by default you're going to make it incorrect. So please don't do that. So again, as I discussed, Attorney General has a right to attend any courts of India, any courts, right? So this is of course incorrect. Although we have achieved the answer, but again we'll look at the other three options. He or she holds office during the pleasure of President. We have seen the service conditions appointment is done by the President of India. So again correct. He or she receives remuneration as determined President. Yes. So that's how basically this option is. Which option is incorrect here? B. One more question. Which of the following statements about Solicitor General of India is not correct? Who is Solicitor General? Again, these are law officers of the government of India, but they do not have a mention in the constitution. They have a mention where? In the rules of 1987, which we have discussed. So they are again assisting the Attorney General in the matters, or government in the legal matters as well. So the Solicitor General of India is the government chief legal advisor. देखो, highest legal advisor is Attorney General. So yes, they are also chief legal advisors. So this is also correct. Then if it would have been the highest legal advisor, then this option would have been incorrect, because highest is Attorney General of India. After Attorney General, we have Solicitor General of India. Then the Solicitor General of India is secondary law office of government. Yes, the primary, the first is Attorney General, secondary is this. So this is correct. The post of SGI is a constitutional post. देखो यही आएंगे आपके traps. This is not mentioned in the constitution. It is not a constitutional post. This is incorrect. We have discussed this. Article 78 only mentions about Attorney General of India, not the Solicitor General of India. Last is the Solicitor General of India is appointed by Appointments Committee of the Cabinet. Yes, that is true. So the statement which is incorrect here is C. I think one more question I had with respect to, yes. Which of the following statements about Attorney General of India is not correct? Again question. He shall have a right to speak in the House of Parliament. Yes, he does not have a right to vote, but he has a right to attend as well as take part in the proceedings of which committee? Any parliamentary committee which he is a member. So this statement is again correct. He shall have a right of audience in all courts in the territory of India in the performance of his official duties. Absolutely correct. He must have the same qualifications as are required to be a judge of Supreme Court of India. Absolutely correct. He is a whole-time counsel for government, because he can do his private practice as well, but again he has to take permission of President. So again he is not a whole-time counsel. He is basically assisting government when it is required. So this is again incorrect. So correct option here is D. So questions ऐसे आएंगे examination में. It will be very simple, but you have to be attentive to solve those questions in examination. Then, हाँ, किसकी? Advocate General of State. Advocate General of State. हाँ, Governor करेगा. Yes, Governor. Same है, same. खाली नाम President की जगह Governor आ जाएंगे. That's the only difference. ठीक है, वो किसके हाईएस्ट ऑफिसर होंगे? रेस्पेक्टिव स्टेट के होंगे. ठीक है. देन नेशनल कमीशन फॉर शेड्यूल्ड कास्ट. You must have heard about what is Article 32 of the Indian Constitution? Article 32. is reservation. Very good. Yes, in case of violation of any of the fundamental rights, you can directly approach the Supreme Court of India. It is right of constitution or remedies, right? So this is where technically क्या बोला गया है कि if any violation of fundamental right of any citizen is being done either by state, many times state is the only one which is mentioned under part 3 of the Constitution, but there are some fundamental rights which can also be availed against the actions of certain individuals. Examples. Which fundamental right can also be availed against the actions of private individuals? बताओ. Article 17, very good, abolition of untouchability. Then Article 15 clause 2 क्या बोलती है? 15 clause 2, access to bathing ghats, access to public spaces which are maintained wholly and partly by the government of India. यहाँ पर no private individual can also deny you. So again, please read these facts from the chapter Fundamental Rights. Which rights can only be availed against the actions of state, and which fundamental rights can be availed on both on the actions of state as well as actions of private individuals. That's the basic idea, right? So here we have seen कि Article 32 बोलती है कि citizens have a right to approach Supreme Court of India directly in the violation of fundamental rights. But in India, you must have seen there are a lot of problems of ensuring social and economic justice in the country. People are not aware about their rights. How can you expect them to understand if any right of my is getting violated, and then I can approach Supreme Court of India? Or they don't have that such amount of time, money and resources to approach Supreme Court in case of violation of rights. And that's how there have been constitution of different bodies. For example, National Human Rights Commission, National Commission for Scheduled Caste, National Commission for Scheduled Tribes, National Commission for other backward classes. All of these are the bodies which are again doing the task of ensuring that fundamental rights or certain rights of these disadvantaged sections of society are not misused. And even if they cannot approach courts directly, that I do not know whether my right is violated or not, but these bodies have maybe functions in which they are going around and they are seeing at which place, at what instances certain rights of individuals are getting violated, and they apply petitions on their behalf in the courts of India. Okay? So one of them is National let's say Commission for Scheduled Caste. So before that, I'll discuss how it has a genesis. So basically, Article 338 bolti hai. Article 338 was initially telling that the government should appoint a special officer. That was the initial article. Article 338 told कि the government should appoint a special officer, and what would be the duty of that special officer? That he was to maybe designated as a commissioner for scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. So this was basically a government official who was basically given the task of overseeing the ideas of how exactly the rights, duties, policies, schemes are implemented for the scheduled castes and scheduled tribes, right? So in 1978, government basically set up a non-statutory commission. What is the meaning of non-statutory commission? It is not. अब हो गया ना, मैं 1978 की बात कर रहा हूँ. Here it basically neither constitutional nor a statutory, but again it was just through an executive order. And then in 1987, after 9 years, what they had done was they renamed it as a National Commission for Scheduled Castes and Scheduled Tribes, which was not even getting a constitutional status. But 338 क्या बोलती है? Initially, what was the mandate of Article 338? The government should appoint a special officer. There was no commission. 338 initially only talked about an officer which is going to oversee the matters of scheduled caste, scheduled tribes in the country, but there was no commission which was being set up. Then by again these amendments, very important. They can ask you questions in them as the following. आपको दे देंगे amendments का नाम, and they can ask you which change they have brought in the Constitution of India. So the 65 Amendment Act of 1990, they gave constitutional status to what? National Commission under, again they amended the article. किसको amend किया है? पहले क्या था? Special officer. अब क्या बोला गया? Sir, we are going to have a National Commission who is going to investigate the matters of scheduled castes and scheduled tribes in India. That's the basic idea. Then in 2003, the 89th Constitutional Amendment Act divided the commission into two commissions. One is going to be National Commission for Scheduled Caste and National Commission for Scheduled Tribes. Scheduled Caste mentioned in 338, Scheduled Tribes mentioned 338A. Whenever the mention of capital A means it has been added through an amendment of the Constitution. That is how it is. So again, after in 2004, basically this how National Commission for Scheduled Caste was established. So what exactly are their functions? So again, which kind of body? Constitutional body. Article number 338. Which amendment divided the Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Type Commission? 80? Itni jaldi short term memory. Very good. Then we have 65 Amendment Act which talked about what? Ki initially we had special officer. 65 ने बोला कि officer नहीं रहेगा, हम commission बनाएंगे. Commission jointly for both scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. So basic facts, and that's how you will get questions examination. So it is basically a constitutional body. Again, what would be its composition? It will consist of a chairperson, a vice chairperson, and 3 other members appointed by again the President of India. They has a power just like of a civil court in all certain matters. They hold office for a term of how many years? Not 5 years, 6 years, only 3 years, and they are not eligible for reappointment for how many terms? 2 years. मतलब मान लो जो if you are a chairperson, you can be reappointed for 1 more term, but not for more than 2 terms. That's a basic idea. Functions, basically they are investigating all matters with respect to scheduled caste in the country, how exactly are they functioning, whether they are getting benefits of the government or not, how schemes are against them are getting implemented, wherein which articles of Constitution of India we talk about scheduled castes, which articles we talk about scheduled caste in our country. 338 तो कमीशन बताती है. 15 article 15, no discrimination on the basis of religion, race, caste. Then article 17, abolition of untouchability. Then what is article 46? Article 46, the state shall make special provisions for scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. Article 330, 332. What is 330, 332? नहीं efficiency नहीं. Again you must have seen कि there are, अच्छा, are we having reservation of seats in the parliament and legislatures for scheduled caste and scheduled tribes? कहाँ mention है? वहीं पर mentioned है, right? There are other articles mentioned in the municipalities and panchayats to talk about scheduled caste in the country, right? Then yes, inquire into specific complaints with respect to deprivation of rights and safeguards of scheduled caste and scheduled. Basic idea, basic functions hai. Then very important this year, GST 2.0 Council was constituted, and again it made certain changes in the tax slabs of the country. That's why GST Council is very important for examination. So the 56th meeting of GST Council was held last year, just before Diwali, and that's where we came up with certain kind of a GST reform which is called as next generation reform 2.0. And technically we had 4 tax slab rates. क्या पहले क्या था? Initially we had a tax slab of 5%, then we have 12%, then we have 18%, and then we had 28%. So now this 4 tax slab structure has been substituted to 2 slab structure. बोला गया कि basically we are going to ease out the tax structure in the country. So basically what they have done, they have simplified 2 slab structures. One is going to be products coming under 5% tax slab, product and services, and here again coming under 18%. So all essential items are kept under the 5% tax slab rate, and all other things are kept under 18%. There is one more category of 40% which has been created, wherein we are targeting the luxury items and basically sin goods, right? So that is the basic idea. But again, देखो question आएंगे कि which of the products have been added in the category of 40%. Because now you must have seen previous year questions of UP, they have been asking which products come under GST or not, which comes under which tax slabs, right? So again, now things have become easier for you. Why? Because you just need to remember कौन से essential है और कौन से non-essentials है, right? So that's how you can easily classify between options in the examination. But please remember all sin goods, for example, tobaccos, for example, all aerated sugary drinks, they have been coming under the ideas of 40% tax slab. Then again, all luxury cars, किसमें होगा 40%, right? That's how it is. So again, the GST is a classic example of which federalism? Cooperative. Why cooperative federalism? Because technically states have given up their powers of taxation to the central government, right? That is the idea of GST. So GST came up with which amendment act? Very good, 101 Constitutional Amendment Act of which year? 2016. So again it established an article, that is article 279A, which is basically constituting a GST council. Okay, decision होंगे, it is not going to be done by a single body. We are going to constitute a council, and that council is going to take decisions about all the matters of taxation with respect to GST in the country. So again, they recommend what? The GST rates, what are the exemptions, what are the threshold limits, what are model GST laws, special provisions for states, and dispute resolution mechanism. That are their functions. Then they meet at least once every quarter. मतलब quarter का मतलब क्या लिखा है यहाँ पे? 4 साल बोल रहे हो? They must meet at least one every year quarter. Every 3 months, right? अभी देखो ना 56 मीटिंग हुई है, तो लॉजिक लगाओ, हर 4 साल में तो 50 कैसे हो जाएगा? right? Special sessions can be called on urgent basis. That is the basic idea. Then what is the composition of GST Council? Very, very important. So again, they are chaired by Union Finance Minister, plus as it is also an example of cooperative federalism. So you must have seen there are three categories of Council of Ministers. One is cabinet ministers, who are being allotted portfolios of maybe very important portfolios, finance, home minister. Then there are ministers of state. Who are those ministers of state? They are attached to any of the cabinet ministers, or they are given some small ministries. Then there are third category, deputy ministers. Who are those? They are basically again associated with any departments with the cabinet or ministers of state. So again here, Union Finance Minister and any Union Minister of State which are attached to which ministry? Finance Ministry are going to be the members of GST Council, and the Finance Ministers of all states and UTs with legislatures as members. Then voting, again it is having a weightage of weighted system. Center has 1/3 of the vote and states have 2/3 of the votes, and decisions need 3/4 majority of weighted votes. That's the basic idea. Significance, they again are promoting the idea of cooperative federalism, ensuring uniformity and stability of GST across India. That's the basic idea. I have one question for you which has been asked for UPSC. I think very easy. ad hoc basis पे आते हैं, वो भी होते हैं, right? So what the main composition is this only, ठीक है? Then what is or are the most likely advantages of implementing goods and services tax? कब आया था ये? 17 में. GST कब आया था? 16. So again, that's how you see how questions from current events will be there in your question papers. So all such important things which has been there in last 1 year, they are giving you a hint. आपको बोल रहे हैं कि मुझे पढ़ो और मुझे सॉल्व करो एग्जामिनेशन में, तो आपके पास सब कुछ है, आपको बस पढ़ना है और क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करना है, राइट? सो हियर अगेन वेरी सिंपल, it will replace multiple taxes collected by multiple authorities and will create a single market in India. True or false? Yes, that was because we had different kind of taxes. Many central taxes and many state taxes have been subsumed under GST. Which kind of a tax? Indirect, direct tax है ये. Indirect, very good. So that's absolutely correct. अब देखो, अब आपको देगा UPSC थोड़ा confuse करने के लिए statements. It will drastically reduce the current account deficit of India and will enable it to increase its foreign exchange reserves. So it depends upon the health of the economy, not on the composition of GST. Tax से कुछ नहीं change होने वाला, आपका current account deficit और foreign reserve. So again, maybe logically, this is where logic apply करो. It is incorrect. It will enormously increase the growth and size of economy of India and will enable it to overtake China in the near future. So these are basically giving you, okay, मुझे गलत मारो. These statements are technically incorrect. So again, that's how you are going to just figure it out. So again, out of maybe 100 questions, there will be 10-15 questions which will be easy. And these are those category of questions. And you can afford to do them wrong in the examination. Varna you will regret after coming out of the paper. हाँ. Certain products are still not coming under the purview of GST. वो भी देखिए कौन सी है. Then very important, Lokpal. Lokpal again a very important body. What's the mandate of Lokpal? क्या करती है? So again in India you must have seen there is a problem of corruption in governance. So again we are trying to fight corruption through different mechanisms, and one of those is Lokpal. So you must have read about, again this constitution of Lokpal was first discussed in the second ARC report of 1960s. वहाँ बात हुई थी कि please set up a body of Lokpal. Then again recent the genesis started with the whole idea of India against corruption. Anna Hazare movement. It talked about कि there are many public officials in our country. You go to, will not discuss that in detail, but again you go at many places, at many government offices, you will find corruption. So there has to be some mechanism which has to be given to citizens so they can file the cases, and there has to be some justice which has to be provided. And for that we have constituted called as Lokpal. So Lokpal and Lokayuktas Act of 2013 talked about creation of Lokpal. So Lokpal is going to investigate the matters of corruption against public servants at union level, and Lokayuktas are going to handle the cases of corruption against the state officials at a state level. That's the basic difference between Lokpal and Lokayuktas. So recently the Parliamentary Standing Committee had on personal and public grievances and law and justice suggests urgent steps to operationalize Lokpal inquiry prosecution wings in its 145. We will see that there are two kind of wings, prosecution wings and investigative wing. They are not basically operationalized. And in many states of India, there are no Lokayuktas. बहुत कम states, I think 9 states in India, they have Lokayukta Act because it talked कि after 1 year of constitutional Lokpal, 2013 Act ने ये बोला कि जब लोकपाल बन जाएगा स्टेट को हम पावर दे रहे हैं 1 साल के अंदर प्लीज क्रिएट योर ओन लोकायुक्तास. बट अगेन नन मेनी लेस ऑफ द स्टेट्स हैव created lokayukta. Only I think 9 states are there in India who have lokayuktas constituted. Yes. Then Genesis, again central body hai, again a statutory body. Again, now we are talking about all the statutory bodies. ये मतलब it has been created through an act of parliament. Which act of parliament? Lokpal and Lokayuktas Act of 2013, right? So they are a statutory body. Again, anti-corruption ombudsman established under Lokpal and Lokayuktas Act of 2013 to investigate and prosecute corruption involving which person? Public servants. So again, public servants also include what? मैं बोलूँगा judiciary. Is judiciary coming under public servant? Yes, in some matters, whenever they are discharging any services apart from justice, so they can be coming under the purview of public servant, right? Then they are recommended by the first and second ARC commissions. Then Lokayuktas operation at state level, we'll discuss this. Again, जब मैंने बोला कि state level पे है, so can we have uniform Lokayuktas across all states? Logic, basic plain logic. Of course not. Why? Every state is empowered to make their own Lokayuktas Act. So can we have a similar Lokayuktas at all states of India? No. That's a basic idea. So structure of course varies from states and is appointed by the governor, generally in consultation with Chief Justice of India of the State High Court and leader of opposition in the state legislative assembly. We'll discuss that. Then as per the act, the power of Lokpal applies to all categories of public servants in India, including those of serving under union government, whether posted within India or abroad. आप हैं एक Indian Foreign Service official, आप हैं Embassy of US में posted, तो क्या लोकपाल आपके अगेंस्ट करप्शन इन्वेस्टिगेट कर सकती है? यस, कर सकती है. क्यों लिखा है? ये लॉ ही बोलता है, whether they are posted within India or abroad. Then the first Lokpal, it was of course there by Pinaki Chandra Ghosh, and current Lokpal is again Justice A.M. Khanwilkar. Facts are not important for the examination. The term here is of, the members are appointed for a term of 5 years and the age is not 65, the age is here is 70 years. तो यहाँ facts है, I cannot help you on this, you have to remember this, right? So 5 or 70 years. And no reappointment. Of course, we have to ensure their independent functioning. If I am a member of Lokpal, if I have a hope कि if I start favoring the government in the investigating matters, I have an opportunity to get again reappointed. So will I work independently? No. And that's the manner, that's why we have made this body ineligible for reappointment. Right, so no reappointment as chairperson or member after completion of term. Member भी नहीं बन सकते ना chairman बन सकते हो. Then a member may become chairperson only if total tenure does not exceed 5 years. That's a basic difference. Then who is appointing Lokpal? What are their tasks? So again we have discussed term is 5 years, 70 years, no appointment. Member may become, very important, they have a superintendence over investigations of what? CBI, Central Investigating Agencies, including CBI for cases referred by Lokpal. Then document protection, it can issue directions to public servants for preservation and protection of records and documents. Then they have a power just like of a civil court. They have power to maybe under civil code of civil procedure to conduct preliminary inquiry and investigation into corruption cases. And then appellate jurisdiction, act as a final appellate authority in public grievances cases involving findings of, we have a Prevention of Corruption Act, it was in news, ये न्यूज़ में है अभी, पता है ना क्यों 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 न्यूज़ में है? प्रिवेंशन ऑफ करप्शन एक्ट में क्या बोला गया है कि बिफोर let's say investigating any corruption matter against a public servant, you have to prior take approval of Government of India. And that's where a Supreme Court judgment has been passed. There has been two, let's say, judgments. One bench has, or one group of judges have told कि हाँ ये होना चाहिए, and some has told नहीं होना चाहिए. And that's why it is a very important topic for, again, for examination. The idea of Prevention of Corruption Act of 1988, right? And then that's the basic idea. अगर आप गए किसी investigation में और Prevention of Corruption Act के तहत आपको you are not satisfied with the justice, you can appeal where? As in the Lokpal. So again, it is an appellate, that is the highest court of appeal against the matter of corruption, against which per Preventions of Corruption Act. हाँ हाँ हम डिस्कस करेंगे लोकपाल के मेंबर्स कौन कौन होते हैं. 50% ये है, 50% विल डिस्कस दैट. देखो चेयरपर्सन कौन होगा इसका. चेयरपर्सन शुड बी अ सर्विंग और अ फॉर्मर चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया. सर्विंग मतलब करंट सीजेआई बन सकते हैं, और any former chief justice of India, or any Supreme Court judge, or an eminent person. Eminent person कौन होते हैं? Who have an experience of law, जो बताया आपको, ठीक है. Then the idea of course here is कि the eminent person का qualification क्या होगा. He has to be having experience of 25 years of special knowledge and expertise in the matters relating to anti-corruption policy, public administration, vigilance, finance, including insurance, banking, and law and management. That's the basic idea. Then what is the composition of Lokpal? It consists of 8 members. In this, 50% members should be judicial members, because technically understand, it is just like maybe a body in which it has to investigate the matter, and in that investigation matters it might come across certain administrative issues wherein judiciary might not be competent to understand those administrative challenges. मान लीजिए एक लोकपाल का करप्शन आया, उन्होंने बोला कि सर ये सर्विस रूल्स है, ये ग्राउंड्स है, इसके अगेंस्ट ये क्लॉज है, ये वायलेट हो रहे हैं, सो प्लीज इन्वेस्टिगेट इट. So many times judges may not have an expertise in the matters of administration, and that's why the composition has been given 50-50%. 50 members कौन से होंगे, 50% कौन से members होंगे. Why? Because they are going to be giving justice, they are going to deliver power, maybe justice, and they have power just like a civil court we have discussed. So 8 members are there, 50% are judicial members, and not, इसमें भी 8 members में not less than 50 members shall be among persons belonging to SC, STs, OBC, minorities and women. So out of 8, 50% is a criteria for reservation for SC, STs, OBCs, minorities and women. And who are minorities in India? बस गलत. इतने एक्सट्रीम स्टेटमेंट कैसे बोलते हो यार. Exactly. Article 29 क्या बोलती है? Who are minorities? We have classified minority in 2 types: linguistic minorities and religious minorities, right? Then eligibility of a judicial member, then who can become, अगर आपको लोकपाल बनना है, मैंने बोला कि 50% should be judicial person. So what are their qualifications? Chairperson का तो पता है qualification क्या है. He should be a former or a current CJI or a judge of a Supreme Court. Then for other judicial members, he or is or has been a judge of Supreme Court, or is or has been a chief justice of a High Court. ठीक है. And then how they're appointed, who appoints them? The President of India on recommendation of a selection committee. यहाँ आती है controversy. This is where controversy comes. Sir, Lokpal, if it is investigating the matters of corruption, don't you think it has to be kept independent from the control of the government? If I am telling ki who can be the member of Lokpal, I'll decide, and you are filing or maybe investigating corruption matters against the government, public servants, how it is fair? Don't you think it's having conflict of interest? But again, still we have this idea. So the disqualification, first we'll discuss ki what are the yes, the selection committee. हमने क्या बोला? What is the membership of Lokpal? How many members are there? 8 members. We have seen their qualifications, eligibility, but who will select those 8 members? This committee consisting of Prime Minister, he is a chairperson, then Speaker of the House, he is a member, then Leader of Opposition of the House, number 1, then Chief Justice of India or a Judge of Supreme Court nominated by him, or one eminent jurist to be nominated by President. So technically कितने लोग हैं कमिटी में? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, और 4 लोग कौन से हैं? सरकारी लोग हैं, पीएम, स्पीकर ऑफ द हाउस, ऑपोजिशन, एमिनेंट पर्सन, इसको कौन अपॉइंट कर रहे हैं? प्रेसिडेंट। प्रेसिडेंट किसके डाइस पे करेंगे? काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स। सो अगेन वन मेंबर इज ओनली फ्रॉम द डोमेन ऑफ जुडिशरी. So how can you ensure independence in the functioning of Lokpal? And that is again a matter of question. It is again, it was there last year in news. So who cannot become a member of Lokpal? Let's see that. Ki any member of parliament or legislature cannot become member of parliament, or maybe they are not allowed to be member of Lokpal. Then any convicted of moral turpitude, any moral values पे अगर वो जेल पे कोई है, then ये भी कॉन्ट्रोवर्शियल है कि वाई यू आर ओनली मेकिंग पीपल अबव 45 years एलिजिबल टू बिकम मेंबर ऑफ लोकपाल. वाई नॉट लेस देन देम एज वेल? दैट हैज एन अगेन आइडिया. देन पंचायत मेंबर्स, म्युनिसिपैलिटी मेंबर्स आर नॉट अलाउड. देन रिमूव्ड और डिसमिस्ड फ्रॉम सर्विस. अगर आप डिसमिस हो चुके हैं तो कुछ ना कुछ तो गलत किया होगा आपने, राइट? सो अगेन दे आर नॉट अलाउड टू मेंबर ऑफ लोकपाल. एंड देन ऑफिस ऑफ ट्रस्ट और प्रॉफिट. सो दीज मेंबर आर नॉट qualified enough to become a member of Lokpal. One question was asked last year. I'll show that question to you and see with this information only you can solve the question. 25 question the last year. The power of Lokpal applies to public servants of India but not to Indian public servants posted outside India. मैंने क्या बोला था? Public servants जो इंडिया में भी हैं, जो अब्रॉड में भी हैं, both are eligible. So the option is correct or incorrect? Incorrect. The chairperson or a member shall not be a member of parliament or a member of legislature of any state or union territory, and only the chief justice of India, whether incumbent or retired, has to be its chairperson. मैंने क्या बोला था? ये लिखा है only. ये तो पता है ना? Members of parliament, members of legislatures, members of panchayats, members of municipalities are not allowed to be member of Lokpal. We have discussed this. Then they are telling, we have discussed who can become the chairman of Lokpal. A former CJI or a current CJI or a judge of a Supreme Court, current judge. हमने देखा. तो ये क्या बोलती है? Only the Chief Justice of India, whether incumbent or retired, has to be its chairperson. Correct or incorrect? Incorrect. ये part यहाँ तक statement सही था कि they are not allowed to be member, but again this makes the statement incorrect, right? So now last year questions are becoming quite maybe difficult to nahi hai, but again multiple facts are given in one statement question. That's an idea. That makes the option incorrect. The chairperson or a member shall not be a person of less than 45 years of age on the date of assuming the office as the chairperson or a member, as the case may be. We have seen minimum age is 45 years. So absolutely correct. Lokpal cannot inquire into the allegations of corruption against a sitting Prime Minister of India. It can investigate, but there are 2-3 exceptions. If for any international matter, if Prime Minister has taken any decisions, वो matter को लोकपाल investigate नहीं कर सकती है. 3-4 exceptions है, देख लीजिएगा उसको, very important. But yes, it can inquire Prime Minister as well. So it is correct or incorrect? Incorrect. Lokpal can inquire. So the correct option here is 3. That is A. हाँ हाँ okay, next. Yes. Yes. Is Prime Minister not a public servant? Any public servant. Any public servant who is going to discharge government duties. Right? Then National Human Rights Commission NHRC, very important, as I discussed, same article 32 है, fundamental rights है, or any matter of rights which has been there with respect to human rights in the country. So there, if they are getting violated, NHRC comes into their rescue, and that's the basic task of NHRC. So basically this is again a statutory body, not a constitutional body. It has been created by an act of parliament which is called as Protection of Human Rights Act of 1990, 3 as amended in 2006 and 2019. So it defines human rights as rights. Basically, we have seen what are rights. Rights are reasonable claims of citizens over something against a state which are recognized by society and protected by a law. अगर मैं बोलूँ कि ये पेन मेरा है, so I have a right of this. Maybe she can come and take the pen. बोला कि सर ये मेरा पेन है. So how can I claim this? Maybe everyone over here should recognize that this pen belongs to me, and even if she's taking that pen away from me, I should be protected by a law to file a case against her. That's the basic idea of a right. Then basically defines what are rights. Rights are related to life, liberty, equality, dignity of an individual. These rights are guaranteed by the Constitution. कहाँ है guaranteed rights ये? Which rights are guaranteed rights? Fundamental rights, Part 3 of the Constitution of India, or embedded in the international conventions and enforceable by courts in India. So who appoints the members of NHRC? Again, appointment कौन करेगा? President of India. So the chairperson members of the commission are appointed by President of India on recommendation of a committee. Again, यहाँ देखिए इस committee के members कौन है? Headed by the Prime Minister. So again, who are going to be the members of NHRC? They are determined by a committee consisting of Prime Minister as its chairperson, then Speaker of Lok Sabha, Minister in charge of Ministry of Home Affairs, Leader of Opposition in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, both, not only Lok Sabha, vote, both the houses. यहाँ difference है, ध्यान रखना. Then Deputy Chairman of Rajya Sabha. So these are the people who basically decides who are going to be the members of NHRC. Right. Tenure, of course, the chairperson members of NHRC will hold office for 3 years or till the age of 70 years, whichever is earlier. We have seen members of who have again 3 and 70. किसके थे हमने discuss किया अभी? Yes, members of National Commission for Scheduled Castes. Right. So chairperson and members both are eligible for reappointment because it is not that of a post. हाँ देखो ये ऐसे पोस्ट हैं कि when we require people to get reappointed. Why? What's the logic behind this? Because with time they get experience. With experience they will find out कि which matters are again a violation of human rights and which are not. So this is where again judiciary, क्यों बोलते हैं कि judiciary को reappointment करिए? After retirement, please make them eligible for certain appointments in the matters of justice. That's why there you will find कि we have a system of ad hoc judges as well. Right, so that's the basic idea. And again, removal, both chairperson members can be removed from the office of by president on order on the ground of proven misbehavior and incapacity after consultation with Supreme Court. Not like judges Supreme Court, but after consultation. Consultation does not mean here concurrence. Consultation means बस consultation करना है. What is concurrence? Binding, yes. So powers of NHRC, they have a power just like a civil court, and in particular respect of following matters, basically summoning and enforcing attendance of witnesses, examining on the oath, discovery and production of any document, receiving evidence on affidavits. Basic functions, I just read about them, nothing much to discuss over here. हाँ किसका? नहीं यार, थर्ड स्कूल में कुछ गिनो चुने लोगों का ओथ है, वही उनकी याद रखना है आपको. Right, then the composition consists of chairperson and other members. So again here you will find out chairperson should, because it is a matter of human rights, again a matter of justice, interpretation of law. So who should be the chairperson? Of course, again he has to be retired Chief Justice of India or a sitting judge of Supreme Court. Right, current CGI cannot become a member of NHRC. Can he become the member of Lokpal chairperson? Yes. Then they have 5 full-time members. They are retired or serving judges Supreme Court, then retired or serving Chief Justice of the respective High Court, or 3 other members to be appointed by persons having knowledge and practical experience in the matters of human rights, one of whom shall be a woman. इनको कौन होंगे ये कौन डिसाइड करता है? A committee consisting of Prime Minister as its chairperson, Speaker of Lok Sabha, Minister in charge of Home Affairs, Leader of Opposition of both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and Deputy Chairman of Rajya Sabha. Facts hai. Right. Then there are 7 dean members. So again, you must have seen कि NHRC के अलावा भी there are different commissions, National Commission for Women, National Commission for Children, or let's say for SCs, STs, OBCs, minorities. So these are basically called as ex officio members. What's the meaning of ex officio? By virtue of the office. Just because they are a chairman of, let's say, National Commission for Scheduled Castes, they automatically become the member of NHRC. So these 7 members are ex officio members of these bodies. That is National Commission for Minorities, Backward Classes, Persons with Disabilities, Scheduled Caste, Scheduled Tribe, Protection of Child Rights and Women. इनके members और इनके जो chairpersons होते हैं automatically become the member of NHRC. Why? Because they are ex officio members. Then with respect to functions, basically inquire into human right violations, that has the idea. Then again intervene in proceedings involving human right violation pending before a court. अगर कोई कोर्ट के पास एक human right violation case है and it is a very important matter, someone you approach the NHRC, so of course they are going to fight a case against you. Then they visit any jail. You must have seen there was a वेब सीरीज विद द नेम ऑफ तिहाड़, नहीं पंचायत नहीं यार, तिहाड़ जेल पे थी एक, whatever it is, जहाँ the conditions of prisoners in the jails of India was being discussed, how inhuman treatment they are getting over there. So NHRC, their volunteers, they visit these places time and again, they find out what kind of human rights of the inmates are getting violated over there. Then they review law and procedure of protection of human rights. They review factors including acts of terrorism that inhibit human rights. So that's the basic functions of NHRC. Yes. हाँ. They are getting salaries, allowances. She's asking basically who are ad hoc judges. Ad hoc judges basically they are retired judges. They are only appointed for a temporary shortage of judges are there in Supreme Court or High Courts, and they are enjoying all salaries, allowances just like a Supreme Court judge or a High Court judge, but they are not getting maybe a designation as a judge of a Supreme Court or High Court. Designation नहीं मिलती, बस आप जज बनते हो, सैलरी मिलेगी, अलाउंसेस मिलेंगे, बट आपको डेजिग्नेशन जज का नहीं दिया जाएगा. That's the difference. हाँ 85 क्या एज लिमिट, किसकी बात कर रहे हो आप? Okay, no jokes. So National Medical Commission, again you must have seen कि earlier the medical governance in India was done by Medical Council of India. Medical Council of India was the one who was talking about how exactly recruitment or maybe जो NEET examination क्या होते हैं वो UG courses, PG courses के लिए how exactly appointments are going to happen, examination or recruitments are going to happen, then how exactly doctors conduct their ethical behavior are going to be judged. This was done by Medical Council of India. But we have seen that Medical Council of India was maybe charged with many corrupt allegations, and that's how government in 2019 scrapped off the old Medical Council of India and it set up a new body with the name of National Medical Commission. That's the basic idea. So very important, it has completed its 5-year of completion. That's what is important. So basically an act of parliament, National Medical Commission Act of 2019, which came into force in 2020. So basically this is how it is being constituted. It replaced the Medical Council of India and the Board of Governors were dissolved. Who are the members of this? So basically members are appointed by central government. यहाँ पर appointment कौन कर रहा है? President नहीं कर रहे हैं. तो ये हो गया आपके लिए exception, right? So the commission consists of following persons to be appointed by the central government, namely chairperson, the 10 ex officio members and 22 part-time members. All doctors ही होंगे, mostly in the medical field के होंगे लोग, and they have created 4 autonomous boards. Entirely medical governance is going to be done by National Medical Commission. क्या करेंगे? Number 1, 4 body create हुई इसके अंदर. Number 1 is Undergraduate Medical Education Board. Basically it is going to talk about how the MBBS examinations are going to be conducted, what would be their other things, वो decide करेगा ये body. Then Postgraduate Medical Education Board, all PG courses of medical sciences are going to be done by this body. Then medical assessment and rating board. How exactly we are going to give ratings to different medical colleges of India? They are going to be done by this particular board. Then ethics and medical registration board. How exactly doctors' ethical behavior are going to be monitored? How they are going to get certifications? Everything is going to be done by this particular board. Technically पहले थी हमारे पास this Medical Council of India. It was basically charged with different kind of corruption allegations, and that's why government created a new body. It is called as National Medical Commission. Yes. Any question? तुम कहाँ पहुँच जा रहे हो यार? मुझे समझ Then functions of National Medical Commission. So क्या करेंगे वही मैंने बताया जो आपको कि policy and standards, they lay down policies to maintain high standards of medical education, regulated institutions. Then healthcare planning, all medical governance का काम यही करेंगी. Then coordination for ensuring smooth functioning of boards and councils, oversight, monitors compliance and handles appeals of efficiently, ethics, fee regulation. आपने देखा ना कि in India to become a doctor and specifically from a private medical college, very costly, right? So this is where what they have done is for all private medical colleges, they have made sure कि 50% of the fee, 50% seats and their fees will be regulated by this medical commission. ठीक है? So fee regulation controls 50% seats in private and deemed colleges and licensing limited to licenses to community health providers. That's the basic idea. Nowadays you see fine now there are many doctors who practice without becoming a doctor, right? In many of the rural areas you find people, they have opened their medical clinics but they do not have any certification, right? That is very important and that has been the idea. So then the next body here is Competition Commission of India. So technically understand कि India में what we have done is कि with digitalization many new kind of maybe discrepancies or maybe we can call it जैसे कि there are different medical digital services and वहाँ पर थोड़ा unfair practices हो रही हैं. This is where ये उन्होंने बोला है कि sir, the Standing Committee on Finance has talked about कि there has to be an evolving role of Competition Commission of India in economy, particularly in digital landscape. कि now in digital space there has been lot of unfairness. Some people are doing some practices which is making unfair businesses some other people. तो उसके लिए rescue कौन आएगा? Competition Commission of India. So basically it is trying to ensure fairness in the matters of economic activities in the country, right? We'll discuss different parameters as well, of course. So basically it is established by an act of parliament, that is Competitions Act of 2002, and it became operational in 2009, 5 साल के बाद, ठीक है, 7 साल का in fact. Then coming under Ministry of Corporate Affairs, again consists of chairpersons plus 6 members, again appointed by central government. And it is, again, many understand that there is different kind of tribunals. What are tribunals? Right. And which parliament, which amendment act talked about tribunals in India? Constitutional amendment act. Huh? Yes, 42nd Amendment Act, and it created which article? 323 A and B. A talks about administrative tribunals. Who can create an administrative tribunal in India? Parliament or state legislatures? Only Parliament has the power to create a tribunal under Article 323A. 323B के अंदर both parliaments and the state legislatures have a power to create tribunals. On what matters the union government can create a tribunal under Article 323B? We have seen Schedule 7. Schedule 7 contains 3 lists: union list, state list, concurrent list. So on all union subjects, on those matters, if government wants to create a tribunal, then only central or the parliament is authorized to create that tribunal. समझ गए? अगर state subject है और उस पे बनाना है tribunal, then the respective state legislature is going to create that particular tribunal. So again, in any matters of competition in India, who is the final authority to hear a complaint? Appellate tribunal, that is National Company Law Appellate Tribunal under Companies Act of 2013 and for the Competition Act कि अगर कोई भी discrepancies हो रही हैं, कोई unfairness practices है and you have approached different courts, you have not got any resort, the final court here is National Company Law Appellate Tribunal. Then what is the role? Basically ensuring interest of consumers, advise government on companies issues, inquire, investigate, pass orders. I'll discuss that. क्या है ये basically? So number one is, it is basically ensuring eminent anti-competitive practices, maybe stopping companies from rigging markets unfairly. You must have seen there have been instances where again, I think this CCI has charged Make My Trip and Go IBBO. Make My Trip and Go IBBO, what we're doing, कि कुछ hotels को पहले list करते थे, right? And it was basically some cheaper hotels were not getting visibility by the consumers. Why? Because just because the platforms, that is Make My Trip and Go IBBO, were giving preference to certain specific hotels, and Competition Commission of India came into their rescue, right? Then we have protect consumers, make sure you aren't overcharged due to monopolies, right? Then investigate and penalize, fine companies that cheat the system. Recently we are having IPL में auctions कैसे होते हैं? We bid for the players and there's a base price. So many times it was found out by CCI that the franchisee owners, they were coming together first, they were deciding a smaller base price so that the bidding could not be high. हाँ, cartel system, इसको भी expose किसने किया? CCI ने किया है. Then they regulate mergers. Maybe let's say Reliance Retail is maybe merging with Futures First. अब इससे it is going to disrupt the business for Blinkit, Zomato or maybe BigBasket. That's how they are also taking mergers. कि merger से छोटे companies का नुकसान तो नहीं होगा. Again done by CCI. Advise government, they guide policy makers on competition related issues. And lastly, they adapt to digital challenges. We have seen कि अगर आप देखोगे big companies, example Google, अगर आप Android phone खरीदते हैं, it always come with inbuilt YouTube installed, Gmail installed. So again, it is basically, if let's say if I am again a platform, I am providing video services, so why would someone install my app if they have an inbuilt YouTube app with themselves, right? This is different such bodies has been coming under the purview of, let's say this. You must have seen that अगर आप जाओगे Amazon खोलोगे या Flipkart खोलोगे, you will find initially the products of Flipkart brand come to the very first pages. This was again came up in the matter of CCI. मैंने बोला कि unfair है, inventory के लिए आप ये नहीं कर सकते. It is an unfair practices, right? All of these are the functions. So basically idea यही है. Then the next is हाँ. Then very important break after this. So National Payment Corporation of India, NPCI, it has been there in news. Why? Because Namibia has decided to sign a license agreement and becoming the first African country to adopt UPI systems for real-time digital payments. What's NPCI काम क्या करती है? Very simple. Basically, in India, we have transactions done online, right? How are they getting settled? That settlement is being done through National Payment Corporation of India. For example, if you are opening your UPI app, how can you pay money? Maybe you send the number or send barcode, आप अपना PIN डालते हो, amount gets deducted and the receiver is receiving the amount. In the middle, the task is done by NPCI. आप जब अपना PIN डाल के amount डालते हैं, it hits NPCI. NPCI checks whether the user or the receiver's bank account details are correct or not correct, and after correct, then it authorizes that transaction. If you are going for an highway, फास्टैग्स होते हैं ना, कौन करता है? NPCI. आप गए, गेट बैरिकेड खुल गया, कैसे खुलता है? मे बी इट आफ्टर द स्कैनिंग इज बिंग डन, it hits NPCI hits your bank and then amount get deducted, and that is how, that's a basic platform. मतलब एक तरीके से पूरे डिजिटल इकोनॉमी में ट्रांजैक्शंस को सेटलमेंट करना, it is a body of NPCI. So NPCI is basically a body which has been created by RBI plus Indian Banks Association under provisions of which Act? Payment and Settlement Systems Act of 2007. So it is an umbrella entity responsible for overseeing all retail payments and settlement systems in India. एंड इनिशिएटिव्स क्या है, अंटिल वेरी रिसेंटली वी वेर ओनली हैविंग यूज, आपके पास जो एटीएम कार्ड थे किसके थे, या तो वीजा या तो मास्टर कार्ड. वीजा मास्टर कार्ड कहाँ ही कंपनीज हैं, बाहरी कंपनीज है, राइट. दिस इज वेयर NPCI built India's own digital debit card, credit card, that is RuPay cards, right. Then all linking all ATMs in India UPI. It also facilitates national electronic toll collection, FASTags हो गए, IMPS हो गए, NACH, Aadhaar payment bridge system, all of them is done by NPCI. Basically every online transactions comes under the regulation of NPCI in India. ठीक है. I think one question was here, simple. मेट्रो में कैसे आएगा यार, आप तो टोकन लेते हो ना वहां से, वो तो गेट वहां खुलता है, वो एनपीसी से नहीं होता है वो. ठीक है. नेशनल पेमेंट कॉर्पोरेशन ऑफ इंडिया हेल्प्स इन प्रमोटिंग द फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूजन इन द कंट्री, यस और नो, यस. देन एनपीसीआई हैज लॉन्च्ड रूपे कार्ड पेमेंट स्कीम, एब्सोल्युटली करेक्ट. सो बेसिक क्वेश्चन है, देखो जब ये न्यूज में था and that's how it came up in the question examination, right. So we'll take a break of 10 minutes and then we'll see the next set of topics over here.
Every UPSC result proves one thing quietly: success does not begin at the final stage. It begins much earlier, with the kind of foundation a student builds. The UPSC CSE 2025 result makes that visible again. 10 candidates in the top 100 prepared through the Vision IAS GS Foundation Classroom course, including AIR 5 Ishan Bhatnagar. That kind of result is not built on motivation alone. It is built on the right sequence, the right guidance, and the right correction. This is what the Vision IAS Delhi GS Foundation course is designed for. Concept first classroom learning, so preparation is not scattered. Early answer writing and testing, so improvement starts on time. PT 365 and Mains 365, so current affairs become usable in the exam. And mentorship that keeps preparation aligned, focused and accountable. Because in UPSC, hard work is common. Structured preparation is what creates separation. If you are targeting UPSC 2027, start by building your base the right way. Vision IAS Delhi GS Foundation course. Upcoming classroom batches at Karol, Bagh, 24th March at 5 p.m., 30th March at 8 a.m. and 7th April at 11 a.m. At GTB Nagar, 17th March at 8 a.m. and 25th March at 6 p.m. Register at our website or call us on the given numbers. Every UPSC result proves one thing quietly: success does not begin at the final stage. It begins much earlier, with the kind of foundation a student builds. The UPSC CSE 2025 result makes that visible again. 10 candidates in the top 100 prepared through the Vision IAS GS Foundation Classroom course, including AIR 5 Ishan Bhatnagar. That kind of result is not built on motivation alone. It is built on the right sequence, the right guidance and the right correction. This is what the Vision IAS Delhi GS Foundation course is designed for. Concept first classroom learning, so preparation is not scattered. Early answer writing and testing, so improvement starts on time. PT 365 and Mains 365, so current affairs become usable in the exam. And mentorship that keeps preparation aligned, focused and accountable. Because in UPSC, hard work is common. Structured preparation is what creates separation. If you are targeting UPSC 2027, start by building your base the right way. Vision IAS Delhi GS Foundation course. Upcoming classroom batches at Karol, Bagh, 24th March at 5 p.m., 30th March at 8 a.m. and 7th April at 11 a.m. at GTB Nagar, 17th March at 8 am and 25th March at 6 pm. Register at our website or call us on the given numbers. Every UPSC result proves one thing quietly: success does not begin at the final stage. It begins much earlier, with the kind of foundation our student builds. The UPSC CSE 2025 result makes that visible again. 10 candidates in the top 100 prepared through the Vision IAS GS Foundation Classroom course, including AIR 5 in Shan Bhatnagar. That kind of result is not built on motivation alone. It is built on the right sequence, the right guidance, and the right correction. This is what the Vision IAS Delhi GS Foundation course is designed for. Concept first classroom learning, so preparation is not scattered. Early answer writing and testing, so improvement starts on time. PT 365 and Mains 365, so current affairs become usable in the exam. And mentorship that keeps preparation aligned, focused and accountable. Because in UPSC, hard work is common. Structured preparation is what creates separation. If you are targeting UPSC 2027, start by building your base the right way. Vision IAS Delhi GS Foundation course. Upcoming classroom batches at Karol, Bagh, 24th March at 5 pm, 30th March at 8 am and 7th April at 11 am. At GTB Nagar, 17th March at 8 am and 25th March at 6 pm. Register at our website or call us on the given numbers. Every UPSC result proves one thing quietly: success does not begin at the final stage. It begins much earlier, with the kind of foundation our student builds. The UPSC CSE 2025 result makes that visible again. 10 candidates in the top 100 prepared through the Vision IAS GS Foundation Classroom course, including AIR 5 in Shan Bhatnagar. That kind of result is not built on motivation alone. It is built on the right sequence, the right guidance, and the right correction. This is what the Vision IAS Delhi GS Foundation course is designed for. Concept first classroom learning, so preparation is not scattered. Early answer writing and testing, so improvement starts on time. PT 365 and Mains 365, so current affairs become usable in the exam. And mentorship that keeps preparation aligned, focused and accountable. Because in UPSC, hard work is common. Structured preparation is what creates separation. If you are targeting UPSC 2027, start by building your base the right way. Vision IAS Delhi GS Foundation course. Upcoming classroom batches at Karol, Bagh, 24th March at 5 pm, 30th March at 8 am and 7th April at 11 am. At GTB Nagar, 17th March at 8 am and 25th March at 6 pm. Register at our website or call us on the given numbers. Every UPSC result proves one thing quietly: success does not begin at the final stage. It begins much earlier, with the kind of foundation our student builds. The UPSC CSE 2025 result makes that visible again. 10 candidates in the top 100 prepared through the Vision IAS GS Foundation Classroom course, including AIR 5 in Shan Bhatnagar. That kind of result is not built on motivation alone. It is built on the right sequence, the right guidance and the right correction. This is what the Vision IAS Delhi GS Foundation course is designed for. Concept first classroom learning, so preparation is not scattered. Early answer writing and testing, so improvement starts on time. PT 365 and Mains 365, so current affairs become usable in the exam. And mentorship that keeps preparation aligned, focused and accountable. Because in UPSC, hard work is common. Structured preparation is what creates separation. If you are targeting UPSC 2027, start by building your base the right way. Vision IAS Delhi GS Foundation course. Upcoming classroom batches at Karol, Bagh, 24th March at 5 pm, 30th March at 8 am and 7th April at 11 am. At GTB Nagar, 17th March at 8 am and 25th March at 6 pm. Register at our website or call us on the given numbers. Every UPSC result proves one thing quietly: success does not begin at the final stage. It begins much earlier, with the kind of foundation our student builds. The UPSC CSE 2025 result makes that visible again. 10 candidates in the top 100 prepared through the Vision IAS GS Foundation Classroom course, including AIR 5 in Shan Bhatnagar. That kind of result is not built on motivation alone. It is built on the right sequence, the right guidance and the right correction. This is what the Vision IAS Delhi GS Foundation course is designed for. Concept first classroom learning, so preparation is not scattered. early answer writing and testing so improvement starts on time. PT 365 and Mains 365 so current affairs become usable in the exam. And mentorship that keeps preparation aligned, focused and accountable. Because in UPSC, hard work is common. Structured preparation is what creates separation. If you are targeting UPSC 2027, start by building your base the right way. Vision IAS Delhi GS Foundation course. Upcoming classroom batches at Karol, Bagh, 24th March at 5 p.m., 30th March at 8 a.m. and 7th April at 11 a.m. At GTB Nagar, 17th March at 8 a.m. and 25th March at 6 p.m. Register at our website or call us on the given numbers. Every UPSC result proves one thing quietly. Success does not begin at the final stage. It begins much earlier with the kind of foundation a student builds. The UPSC CSE 2025 result makes that visible again. 10 candidates in the top 100 prepared through the Vision IAS GS Foundation classroom course, including AIR 5 in Shan Bhatnagar. That kind of result is not built on motivation alone. It is built on the right sequence, the right guidance and the right correction. This is what the Vision IAS Delhi GS Foundation course is designed for. Concept first classroom learning, so preparation is not scattered. Early answer writing and testing, so improvement starts on time. PT 365 and Mains 365, so current affairs become usable in the exam. And mentorship that keeps preparation aligned, focused and accountable. Because in UPSC, hard work is common. Structured preparation is what creates separation. If you are targeting UPSC 2027, start by building your base the right way. Vision IAS Delhi GS Foundation course. Upcoming classroom batches at Karol, Bagh, 24th March at 5 p.m., 30th March at 8 a.m. and 7th April at 11 a.m. At GTB Nagar, 17th March at 8 a.m. and 25th March at 6 p.m. Register at our website or call us on the given numbers. Every UPSC result proves one thing quietly. Success does not begin at the final stage. It begins much earlier with the kind of foundation a student builds. The UPSC CSE 2025 result makes that visible again. 10 candidates in the top 100 prepared through the Vision IAS GS Foundation classroom course, including AIR 5 in Shan Bhatnagar. That kind of result is not built on motivation alone. It is built on the right sequence, the right guidance and the right correction. This is what the Vision IAS Delhi GS Foundation course is designed for. Concept first classroom learning, so preparation is not scattered. Early answer writing and testing, so improvement starts on time. PT 365 and Mains 365, so current affairs become usable in the exam. And mentorship that keeps preparation aligned, focused and accountable. Because in UPSC, hard work is common. Structured preparation is what creates separation. If you are targeting UPSC 2027, start by building your base the right way. Vision IAS Delhi GS Foundation course. Upcoming classroom batches at Karol, Bagh, 24th March at 5 p.m., 30th March at 8 a.m. and 7th April at 11 a.m. At GTB Nagar, 17th March at 8 a.m. and 25th March at 6 p.m. Register at our website or call us on the given numbers. Every UPSC result proves one thing quietly. Success does not begin at the final stage. It begins much earlier with the kind of foundation a student builds. The UPSC CSE 2025 result makes that visible again. 10 candidates in the top 100 prepared through the Vision IAS GS Foundation classroom course, including AIR 5 in Shan Bhatnagar. That kind of result is not built on motivation alone. It is built on the right sequence, the right guidance and the right correction. This is what the Vision IAS
Okay, so the next body here is Central Drugs Standard Control Organization. Very important this year. Why? Because it was in news. क्यों था news में? You must have seen last year there were few of the children in Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan who have consumed cough syrup and they unfortunately lost their lives. Why? Because in India we had a problem of, in fact we have a problem of fake medicines, and people usually do not report any allergies, any issues which they are facing with respect to consuming of those medicines, and that's why CTSO recently has come up with a new initiative कि across all medical shops in India, they are going to install a toll-free number and a QR code कि whenever you are taking any medicine, अब मान लीजिए आपको मेडिसिन खाने के बाद you are facing some kind of an allergy or you have some kind of an issue, right? So you can scan or call on that number and report then and there itself. So basically, let's say improving the ideas of regulation and monitoring of drugs in India. So that's an idea of CDA. So that is why it was in news. So basically, it is a statutory body under Drugs and Cosmetics Act of 1940. Act कौन सी याद रख लीजिएगा? Again, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. So basically, what is its task? It is if India is importing any drugs, so to check the quality of drugs done by CDSO. If we are approving any new drugs in India, approved by CDSO. If we are going for any clinical trials of drugs in India, again done by CDSO. So all major functions across these are done by CDSO. That's why very important. That is the only news over here. Then next is FSSAI, Food Safety and Standards Authority of India. So whenever you consume any chips packet, anything, any food item that has an approval of FSSAI, that is basically regulating the food sector which we consume, they are of having good quality or not, good standards or not, they are basically certified by this particular body. You must have seen recently many restaurants and many places in India are wherein there have been let's say impositions of FSSAI. They have people have went over there and they have found certain unhygienic conditions of how exactly food are being prepared. So restaurants, food items, everything comes under the regulation of FSSAI. That's the basic idea. So it is again coming under Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, coming under Foods Safety and Standards Act of 2006. So basically it lays down science-based standards and regulate food manufacturing, how they are basically stored, how they are distributed, how they are sold, and how they are getting import. So we have also seen in India we have a problem of a lot of non-communicable diseases, specifically sedentary lifestyle diseases of, let's say, diabetes, hypertension, and that's where government is coming up with Eat Right movement, right? And that is coming under this FSAI. Then governing structure includes Food Authority with chairperson and 22 members, 1/3 being women. देखो यहाँ पर ना इन bodies का glance it, no need to remember because questions would not be of that factual nature in the examination, right? Then we have this, the Supreme Court has questioned the central government. So technically you must have seen in India, there are a lot of road accidents happening, right? होते हैं ना बहुत सारे accidents. I think recently there has been a new let's say proposal by the government कि once you are taking any person to a hospital after a road accident, you're going to get some kind of a compensation, right? That is a new proposal, and there has been some kind of an insurance which are being provided to people who are, let's say, having road accidents in India. So basically under this Motor Vehicles Act of 1988, under section 1215B, Supreme Court ने बोला कि please create a national road safety board. It is basically going to regulate the entire road safety in India. Basically कहाँ roads अच्छे हैं नहीं है, all such things are going to be regulated by this particular board. Supreme Court ने बोला है कि हमने आपको बोला है कि ये body बनाई है, आपने ये body अभी तक बनाया नहीं है. That is how they have questioned it. So basically what would have been the composition of the body is a chairman and not less than 3 but not exceeding 7 members to be appointed by central government, right? Head office कहाँ होगा? NCR. And the board shall be responsible for promoting road safety, innovation and adoption of new technology and for regulating traffic and motor vehicles. Now my question to you is, question examination में आएंगे कैसे? Recently last year, I think in August 2025, Supreme Court came with a judgment which talked about right to a safe motorable road. Is it a fundamental right? कहाँ? किस fundamental में लिखा है? Safe environment नहीं, मैं बोला right to have a good motorable road. Yes sir, in 2000 August 25 Supreme Court gave the judgment that access to safe and well maintained roads is a part of right to life as per article 21. So ये news में था last year, it could be a question. It is an implicit fundamental right under article 21 of the Constitution of India, right? Then And it has also told it is responsibility of the state to develop and maintain the roads directly under its control. The state here mean state mean Indian state, not the states of India. Then aviation sector organizations in news, very very important. This year we had this whole unfortunate Ahmedabad crash, and then we had this whole Indigo crisis in the month of December, so that the whole aviation sector is in news. So please read them, very important for your examination. So how exactly aviation sector in India is getting regulated? There are four bodies. One is talking about safety, one is talking about accident, one is talking about money, and one is talking about basically aircraft ka kaam kaise hoga. That's the four bodies, right? So if you look at here, number one here is Directorate General of Civil Aviation. It's a big boss of the entire airport governance in the country, basically talking about safety regulations, how exactly the let's say the working culture of pilots and co-pilots and crew members are going to be decided. DGCA ने बोला था कि एक टाइम लिमिट सेट किया था कि इसके beyond you are not supposed to fly, which was not accepted, which was not operationalized by Indigo, and that's where you see crisis in the first week of December. That is why it was there. Right, so DGCA, it is basically a body in the field of civil aviation, primarily dealing with the safety issues. So DGCA काम क्या है? Safety बहुत तरीके होती हैं. Aircraft safety भी हो गया, passenger safety भी हो गई. अगर pilot overtime कर रहा है, compromising the safety. So again, everything coming under regulation of DGCA. So responsibility to regulate air transport services to from within India and for enforcement of all air regulations, air safety, airworthiness standards. We have also coming under international, because air travel is no longer, of course, it is going to be having an abroad. So they are also functioning under International Civil Aviation Organization. ठीक है. Then we have Airports Economic Regulatory Authority. ये क्या करेगी? The prices are going to be controlled, regulated by these particular body. How exactly? You maybe technically you must have seen कि once you go to airports, once you go to a restaurant, and you know the amount of charges over there, right? So how exactly the fees is, everything is going to be regulated over there. That is being done by the Airports Economic Regulatory Authority. That is a basic function. Then we have the Bureau of Civil Aviation Security. Once you enter airport, there are security personnel who are checking your Aadhaar card up to DG. अभी ये DG यात्रा आ गया है. But then also at different security posts there are CISF personnel. So they are basically coming under the control of Bureau of Civil Aviation Security. So basically it is laying down aviation security standards as per the Chicago Convention of International Civil Aviation Organization. And basically talking about this is ये news में था भाई, because it is investigating the Ahmedabad air crash that thing. So that's the basic idea. यही चार bodies हैं. That is how it is. I think ये repeated है पहला statement का ही. Then next we have district. अब मैं क्या बोलूँ इसको? Again he is asking कि उड़े देश का हर नागरिक उड़ान scheme. It is basically an idea where again it is a scheme of government to make airplane or air transport affordable. हम बात कर रहे हैं कि एयर गवर्नेंस रेगुलेट कैसे होती है. चार फैक्टर्स होते हैं. एक होती है सेफ्टी, एक हो गया एक्सीडेंट, एक हो गया आपका फीस कैसे रेगुलेट होगा, एंड देन वन वुड बी with respect to the security of that area. That is the four areas, and this is where aviation sector governance is being done. यही आपको चार याद रखना है. बाकी सब स्कीम सरकार की हैं अफोर्डेबल बनाने के लिए एयर ट्रांसपोर्टेशन को. ठीक है. हाँ, नेशनल रोड सेफ्टी जो प्रोटोकॉल है, सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने बोला ये बॉडी बनाइए जो काम करेगी रेगुलेशन ऑफ एंटायर रोड्स एंड रोड सेफ्टी. बॉडी बनी ही नहीं है अभी तक. यही सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने बोला सरकार को कि आपने बॉडी क्यों नहीं बनाया अभी तक. दैट वाज द क्वेश्चन. दैट्स व्हाई दिस बोर्ड इज इन न्यूज. ठीक है, दैट्स इट. Then we have District Mineral Foundation, DMF, very important. You must have seen we have Mines and Minerals Development and Regulation Act. It has mandated that in areas where again mining are happening, people living over there are getting affected out of it. So they have to provide a certain kind of compensation, and that is being done by a creation of this particular fund of District Mineral Foundation. Right. So that is the idea. It is created by an act of parliament, that is माइंस एंड मिनरल्स डेवलपमेंट रेगुलेशन एक्ट ऑफ 1957 कब बना था? 2015 में. So basically it is a non-profit fund for every district affected by mining related operations, and objective is of course that अब लोग affect हो रहे हैं mining से, there is pollution, there is displacement of people, people's land are being acquired, and that is where some compensation has to be given to them, and that's why they have been given. So structure is here, number one, as per the act, who is authorized? कौन बना सकता है फाउंडेशन फंड? बिकॉज टेक्निकली ये हर स्टेट्स में अलग अलग माइनिंग होगी, अलग तरीके की होगी. सो दिस पावर हैज बीन गिवन टू द रेस्पेक्टिव स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स. टेक्निकली इट इज फंक्शनिंग एट ए डिस्ट्रिक्ट लेवल, बट काम बना कौन रहा है? इट इज बीइंग डन बाय द रेस्पेक्टिव state government. So state governments are empowered to make rules prescribing the composition and functions of district mineral foundation. Then they are having two structure. One is the governing structure, which is going to formulate the policies, and then one will be the managing committee who is going to execute the project and schemes. For example, अगर मैंने फंड इकट्ठे किए, उस फंड को मैं यूज कर रहा हूँ for creation of any or building of any schools or any hospitals. So there are two wings. One is going to make the policy and one is going to implement the projects under this foundation. So findings, again funding कैसी होगी? अब in India, if you are a private company, if you had taken up a tender or the lease of a mine, so of course you are going to pay certain amount of royalty to the government. कि अगर आप उस जगह पे माइनिंग करेंगे, जो आप पैसे कमाओगे उसका कुछ रॉयल्टी किसको दोगे? आप सरकार को दोगे. So basically the royalty का 10% of percentage is, again there are some companies who are set up after 2015. For them the limit is of 10% of their royalty, and for companies who are set up before 15 they have to pay 30% of their royalty to the district mineral foundation fund, right? So that is how basic hai, that's the basic idea. Then we have, again one question was there that year, what is or are the purpose of district mineral foundations in India? Number one, promoting mineral exploration activities in mineral rich districts. Yes or no? Not at all. No. This fund is basically for what? For helping people who are getting affected due to mining. वो तो इनका काम नहीं है ना. इनका काम क्या है? फाउंडेशन का काम क्या है? To help people who have been affected due to the activity of mining in that area, particular area. It is not doing the task of promoting mineral exploration. ये अलग ministry है इसके लिए. Then protecting the interest of persons affected by mining operations, absolutely correct. Then number 3, authorizing state governments to issue licenses for mineral exploration. No, not at all. It is not a task. यहाँ सिर्फ है for helping rehabilitating the persons who are affected due to mining. That's the only purpose of district mineral foundation. Again, incorrect. So correct option here is only B. So questions will be of this simple nature in the examination. State governments are empowered to make rules prescribing the composition and functions of district mineral foundation. Who will be their authorities? That is given powers to respective, not union government but the state government. Yes. Then the next here is Petroleum and Natural Gas Regulatory Board. Very important. You must have seen there has been shortages of natural gas, CNG, which are again only speculations, but again it has been in news. So who is the body which regulates all of them? That is very important for this year's prelims examination. That is a Petroleum and Natural Gas Regulatory Body. It has been created by an act of parliament called as PNGR Act of 2006. So क्या काम करती है? Basically how exactly refining is to be done. So what is refining process? Out of crude you're going to refine and get the respective that's either refining. So regulating the refining, then how exactly transportation of those natural gas and petroleum are going to be done, then distribution, their storage, their marketing, their supply, their sale, prices, everything is being regulated by this particular board. And but exclusion is how exactly production of crude and oil and natural gas are done. Production is not under the regulation of this particular body. Only after production refining कैसी होगी, distribution कैसा होगा, price कैसा होगा, sale कैसे होगा, वो determine करती है ये body. So it registers. If you want to open a petrol pump, you have to get yourself registered with this body first. That's the basic idea. Then protect the interest of consumers by fostering what? Fair trade, price and competition, and ensure competitive market for gas. Maintain a data bank of information with respect to all activities of petroleum. Basic facts, nothing much to discuss over here. Then if you have any option, if you have any issue and you want to file a complaint against this particular body, then you have to go to appellate tribunals for electricity establishment under this Electricity Act. ये हो गया आपका question of examination. You cannot think कि I can go to appeal to an electricity tribunal for this petroleum and natural gas, right? That's how exceptions are the questions which are being framed in the examination, right? मैं आपसे अलग से क्लास के बाद ये सब लिख के रखो एक जगह क्वेश्चंस को, ठीक है? हम उसको डिस्कस करें क्लास के बाद. ठीक है, हम डिस्कस कर लेंगे, डोंट वरी. Then the national accreditation for board for testing and calibration lab NABL under QCI has launched a new medical application board. So what exactly is Quality Council of India? Basically ensuring what? The quality of products which you are using or services which you are using. So basically this ये बोल रही है, many times whenever you are going for any medical tests, you go for labs. आप जाते हो ना labs, laboratories जहाँ पे आप testing कराओगे. So basically they are telling कि they have to be coming under the registration of this particular board, that is National Accreditation Board for Testing and Calibration of Laboratories. That has been the basic idea. That is why it is in news. So coming under Societies Registration Act, then they are jointly set up by Government of India and these bodies. So coming under Department of Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade. Governance, basic head 39 members led by Chairperson Prime Minister. Facts, nothing much of importance of this particular year. So basically they promotes quality national campaigns. Again they go for third party assessment. What is third party assessment? Third party assessments, independent, again very good. Then it works to improve citizens' quality of life in line with the global standards. Basically the ensuring quality of products and services which citizens are consuming in the country. Then we have National Green Tribunal, again very important in news. I think recently we had this new project which was given approval by NGT in the Great Nicobar. We are constructing a transshipment port over there. So that's why it was in news. And why? Because that was met with a lot of protest कि you are maybe cutting down 1 lakh of trees and they are telling कि we are going to grow those 1 lakh of trees in Haryana. So how can you expect a tree which is supposed to be grown in the region of Andaman and Nicobar Island to be grown in Haryana, right? And that has been the basic idea. So that is why this body is in use. Altogether, basically, environmental clearances to projects are being given by National Green Tribunal, right? It goes for environmental impact assessment. EIA, you must have read in environment, right? So that's a basic task. So what is the idea? So again, it is basically a statutory and specialized body aimed at, again, disposal of all such cases. They are formed under the National Green Tribunal Act of 2010. Headquarters is in New Delhi and they have other 4 places of their sitting, that is Bhopal, Pune, Kolkata and Chennai. Fact hai, right? Powers of a civil code, and they are not bound by the strict laws. They are going to go justice by principles of natural justice. Then members, they hold office for 5 years and of course they are eligible for reappointment, and that's where you must shall not be eligible for reappointment. Then eligibility of chairperson, again as it is a tribunal. So what are tribunals? Tribunals basically are bodies which are going to give justice. So there are certain judges plus there are certain technical members who are associated with NGT, right? अगर मुझे बताना है कि mining होगी कि नहीं होगी, let's say if I am telling कि I am getting basically report कि what is the status of mine over there, is a judge maybe that much capable to understand the technicalities of mining sector or any environmental sector? No. And that's why tribunals are bodies which has composition of judges plus some technical members. That's the basic idea, right? So orders are binding, but they of course they are not final. They can appeal in the Supreme Court. Time limit क्या है? Within 90 days. Very important. not unlimited time. If a judgment has been given by NGT, it can review judgment, or a appeal could be made in Supreme Court within 90 days of approval of that particular thing given by NGT. Right, so again, there are different framework, what can be done, Biodiversity Act, all the environmental acts, they have a power over there. Then with respect to, huh? हाँ, right, yes. नहीं वही था ग्रेट निकोबार, उसके बाद जो अरावली जजमेंट्स थी, देन उसके बाद अभी रिसेंटली आया था ग्रेट निकोबार, आई थिंक इन मंथ ऑफ जनवरी इटसेल्फ or December, we are constructing a transshipment port over there in the Great Nicobar Islands. That was, this was in news, right? Then कल परसों, हाँ तभी बोला ना, ये बॉडी काफी न्यूज में रहती है. So again, that's how it is. Then we again, Delhi known for pollution, and CPCB and CACP all are very important for examination. So basically a report was released by CPCB talking about polluted river stretches for restoration of water quality. So CPCB is basically a central body coming under which act of parliament? Water Prevention Control Pollution Act of 1974. They are getting their powers from which act? Air Prevention and Control of Pollution Act of 1981. Coming under which ministry? Of course, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. Then functions, basically cleaning of all streams and wells, controlling and abatement of water pollution, technical services to Environmental Ministry. Then there are few programs, National Air Quality Program, Water Quality, then again basic, all such programs are being coming under CPCB. So they are respectively in states of India, we have State Pollution Control Board. Again, they are constituted for the same purposes to supplement the task of CPCB at a state level. That's the basic idea. Then similarly, we have very important CAQM, that is Commission for Air Quality Management in the NCR and adjoining region. So basically, you must have seen ki once, specifically in the months from October to February, we have a very degraded air quality in Delhi. So we have created a very specific body to tackle the problem of air pollution in the adjoining areas of Delhi and its vicinity. So that body is called as Commission for Air Quality Management in NCR. So basically it has been created by an act of 2021 coming under Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. So basically they are doing all things to improve the quality of air, because in Delhi के आसपास कौन-कौन से states हैं? Haryana, Punjab, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, right? So that's how they are controlling all such things over there. Then very important, it can override even the decisions of CPCB. Central Pollution Control Board ने बोला कि ये करना है, ये बोलती है ये नहीं करना है. So again, it can override the decisions of CPCB as well. So again, a very powerful body. So it can override orders for those of state governments, CPCB, all the bodies. Again, it's a very supreme body. Whenever we talk about air pollution in Delhi or in adjoining areas, whatever decisions are there, if it is coming in conflict with any of these decisions, who will get a priority? This CAQM. Then chairperson, he should be at least 15 years of environment protection or pollution control के experience होना चाहिए, and 25 years in administration. Basically, civil servants are the ones who get into this particular post. Then we have Bureau of Energy Efficiency. Why it is in news? Why? Because you must have seen कि climate change is happening, and again we want to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions. So we want, let's say, our cars to become efficient. अगर आपकी एक पुरानी कार है, वो 1 लीटर पेट्रोल पे 14 किलोमीटर चलती है, the idea of course here is कि we want to improve the efficiency. With same petrol, it should run more kilometers, and that has been the idea, and that's why there are few norms, that is CAFE 3 and CAFE norms, 4 norms हैं. ये बोल रही है कि what could be done to improve the efficiency of these cars in India with respect to how much petrol they are consuming and how much kilometers they are running. Right, so Bureau of Energy Efficiency, again coming under Energy Conservation Act of 2001. Basically idea कि इंडिया में हमें एनर्जी को और efficient बनाना है. With same amount of money, I can use more energy. That's the basic idea. So there are many other things which they are doing. Basically portal से देख लीजिए. Very important, ये है State Energy Efficiency Index. It is released by Bureau of Energy Efficiency. क्या है basically? There are many states of India who are doing some of the commendable works in order to improve their efficiency. Example, सोलर लाइट्स करेंगे या कुछ रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी यूज करेंगे, राइट. सो अगेन states are getting rank on the basis of how efficiently they are managing their energy sector. So that is why it has been used. So again ये states को याद कर लीजिएगा. Maharashtra is topping the list, followed by Andhra Pradesh, Assam, Tripura are the top performers in their respective groups. Yes. Then we have this Indian Cyber Crime Coordination Center, I4C. आपने बहुत बार सुना होगा. Maybe you must have seen there are a lot of digital frauds committed in our country, cyber crimes. So there has to be creation of one dedicated body which is going to investigate all matters of cyber crimes in the country, and that body is basically called as IC4. 4C का मतलब 4 ठो C लिखा है यहाँ पर, Cyber Crime Coordination Center, right? So basically अगर if police is investigating any matter in the country and we require some, and in that investigation there is some cyber information which is required, so again it is going to be given by this particular body. अभी बोला गया है कि please in the money laundering prevention PMLA act में, because money laundering is no longer manual work, it is also being done through digital transactions. So again IC4 is also given a mandate to again cater into this whole idea of prevention of money laundering act. So that is how it was in news. यही है functions, just read about them, what exactly are there, nothing much to discuss. Again coming under Ministry of Home Affairs, ठीक है. Then we have this central, हाँ yes, prevention of money laundering तो आ ही गया ना उसी में, वही तो है हवाला. राइट. देन सेंट्रल ब्यूरो ऑफ इन्वेस्टिगेशन, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, हमेशा न्यूज में रहता है, एक बॉडी है, आपने पढ़ा होगा पॉलिटी में, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. सो बेसिकली इन्वेस्टिगेटिंग द चार्जेस एस्टैब्लिश अंडर विच एक्ट, एस्टैब्लिश्ड बाय विच एक्ट, हाँ, दिल्ली पुलिस स्पेशल एस्टैब्लिशमेंट एक्ट, राइट. सो बेसिकली कमिंग अंडर मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ पर्सनल पेंशन एंड पब्लिक ग्रीवेंसेस, कंफ्यूज मत करना होम अफेयर्स से, राइट. दैट इज हाउ इट इज. Coming under the recommendation of which committee? Sanathan Committee of 1962 and 64. So basically it is a non-constitutional, non-statutory body, functions under Delhi's Special Police Establishment Act of 1946. Confuse कर देंगे कि क्या ये statutory body है? नहीं है. It is just coming under this particular act. Again, investigating agencies, coordinate investigations on behalf of Interpol member, industry, basic है, facts देख लीजिए. I'll just discuss one important thing over here, that consent of state in case of investigations by CBI. Because understand, police and public order is which subject is coming under state list. So who is authorized to make laws on those subject? State government. So if I am telling ki CBI is going to come to your state and investigate in the matters of police and public services, so again this encroachment of powers. So यहाँ बोला गया है कि there are two options which are being given to CBI. Let's say if state, उन्होंने बोला number one is general, that is CBI is not required to seek fresh permission. आपने एक state, let's say if I am West Bengal, I am giving one time approval to CBI. You need not to take every time approval to investigate any case in the territory of West Bengal. That is called as one time approval. Then the second here is section 6 बोलती है कि it is empowering respective state governments that they are allowed, that they have to give permission before CBI can investigate any case in their respective territory of the respective state. और दूसरा क्या है कि केस बाय केस बेसिस पे सीबीआई आपको केस जाना है, यू वांट टू इन्वेस्टिगेट एनी केस, एवरी टाइम यू टेक अ परमिशन. दैट्स द बेसिक आइडिया. बेसिक टेक्निकलिटी ये है कि यू नीड, CBI needs to take permission of respective state governments before investigating any case in their respective territory. That's the basic idea. Then we have Niti Aayog, very important. Planning Commission was scrapped off. It came up with Niti Aayog. Niti Aayog क्या है, क्या करती है? Policy think tank of the government of India. So basically it is ensuring the ideas of competitive and cooperative federalism in India, right? So again you must have heard about sustainable development goals, SDG goals, which are going to be completed by 2030. So how exactly we are in a pace of achieving those SDG goals are coming under the monitor of this Niti Aayog. So Niti Aayog, very important body. So just read about it, basic है, facts and 12 पढ़ा होगा. So it is neither a constitutional body nor a statutory body. It is created by an executive order, right? So mandate number 1 SDG, number 2 competitive and cooperative federalism. Then very important, members कौन कौन होते हैं, facts है, remember it because that's how they can ask you questions in the examination. There are different kind of councils which are being constituted by Niti Aayog. Niti Aayog comes up with different kind of reports. Reports को देखिए कौन सी report Niti Aayog निकालती है, what are the reports they are releasing, that's how you're going to see them. Then with respect to objectives, so basically they are formulating plans at village levels, special attention to weaker sections. Basically the idea is कि प्लानिंग कमीशन क्या कर रही थी कंट्री में कि प्लानिंग वाज बीइंग डन विदाउट सीइंग द रिक्वायरमेंट ऑफ द रेस्पेक्टिव स्टेट्स एंड वी वर अज्यूमिंग कि टॉप डाउन अप्रोच. सो अगेन द आइडिया ऑफ कोर्स हियर इज कि वन शू साइज इज नॉट गोइंग टू फिट एवरीवन. So one shoe size fit all approach was being done by planning commission, which has been scrapped off by this Niti Aayog, and it is also ensuring what is the meaning of competitive federalism. क्या है competitive federalism? If some states are performing well, they have to give even some kind of an advantages, and that's where you must have seen once you did finance commission how exactly taxes are distributed within the states of India, right? That is the idea of horizontal tax distribution. There are certain parameters which are taken up by the respective states who are performing well. If let's say southern states have went for population control, so they are given credit in the ideas of division of taxes proceeds between the states as well, right? That all is ensured by Niti Aayog, right? So basic functions, just read about them, who are the members, everything. Facts I am not going to repeat over here. Then with respect to, again दो क्वेश्चन आए थे, very simple. Again ये होते हैं questions which are telling me please do and solve me correctly in the examination. So the government of India has established Niti Aayog to replace, तो अपने में भी बोल देना चाहिए सोते सोते भी, right? Then Atal Innovation Mission is set up under, again these are basic factual information which come and time and again, and there are different kind of reports which are released by Niti Aayog. जैसे नीति आयोग ने बोला कि 2030 तक हमारा अंडरग्राउंड वाटर टेबल खत्म हो जाएगा. So these are reports. So the whole agenda, Niti Aayog agenda plans निकालती है. Just read about them, and again it will be there in your respective PT 365 magazines में होंगे, right? Then we have a National Center for Polar and Ocean Research. अभी जितने bodies हैं very simple, बस simple in sense खाली facts यहाँ पर है. They cannot come up as a standalone question in examination. Maybe they can give you कि in Antarctica we have Maitri and Bharti. So coming under which body? So that's how these, all the bodies I'm going to discuss from now onwards are going to be maybe a question statement in your examinations. It cannot come as a standalone question. ठीक है? Example, National Center for Polar and Ocean Research. So again talking about what? कि in the polar कहाँ है? Antarctica and Arctic, and where? In the ocean. Ocean में what we are searching? We are searching for minerals. We are searching for petroleum, right? So who is regulating them? National Center for Polar and Ocean Research, coming under Ministry of Earth Sciences. Very simple, right? So it members, remember, देख लो, glance it, nothing important to be remembering over here. So secretary again is Ministry of Earth Sciences. Now the task of course here is to maintain and regulate the polar and in ocean research, where again India has its sovereign powers, right? Number one is India's research station in Antarctica कौन सी है? Maitri and Bharti. In Arctic we have Himadri. In Himalayas we have Himansh, coming under the regulation of this body. Then in, again we are going for deep ocean missions, wherein we are exploring different kind of mines and petroleum products, again coming under the domain of this particular body. Then aids implementation of India's Arctic policy and India's Antarctica Act. So again ऐसे questions आएंगे. They can consider the following statements about Antarctica. They gave you 3 statements and coming under this body or not. ऐसे आएंगे questions, not standalone questions in the examination, right? क्या? हाँ हाँ देखो सारे आइलैंड का नाम पढ़ना होगा मैप्स के बेसिस पे, राइट? देन रिसेंटली व्हाई इट वाज इन न्यूज, व्हाई? बिकॉज पोलर भवन, व्हिच इज अगेन अ लेबोरेटरी फॉर पोलर एंड ओशन रिसर्च, would house India's first polar and ocean museum. Then Sagar Bhavan, again we are creating a laboratory at -30°C laboratories, right? That is why this was in news. Samples है, देख लो basically. Then we have National Turmeric Board, right? So again the headquarters कहाँ पर है? You must have seen National Tobacco Board. ये सारे questions आए हैं examination previous year in Guntur, of course, Andhra Pradesh, right? So National Turmeric Board is basically providing leadership of all turmeric matters. It's basically an Indian spice. We are exporting that as well. So basic factors है, कौन है body में क्या है देख लीजिए. टास्क क्या करती है? रिसर्च, डेवलपमेंट, वैल्यू एडिशन, अवेयरनेस अराउंड विच प्रोडक्ट? टर्मरिक. क्वेश्चन कैसे आ सकते हैं? कमिंग अंडर विच मिनिस्ट्री? मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ कॉमर्स एंड इंडस्ट्री. एंड वेयर आर इट्स हेडक्वार्टर? हेडक्वार्टर कहाँ है? इन निजामाबाद इन तेलंगाना. वेयर इज द हेडक्वार्टर ऑफ टोबैको बोर्ड? गुंटूर, आंध्र प्रदेश, राइट? दैट इज हाउ इट इज. देन वी हैव नेशनल आर्काइव्स ऑफ इंडिया. व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ आर्काइव्स? Archives, remains, right. So this is where more than we are going for digitalization of all archives, right? That is where this was in news. So basically 10 crore pages have been archived, and that's why this body was in news. So established in 1891 at Kolkata as Imperial Records Department, collecting all government historical records. Coming under which ministry? Ministry of Culture, right? Headquarters New Delhi, office again in Bhopal. 3 record centers, Bhubaneswar, Jaipur. ये facts है, nothing much to remember over here. क्या काम करती है? Basically custodian of all records of enduring value, including public records, private papers, records, right? And headed by Director General of Archives. Basic functions. Then we have zonal culture centers. What are cultural centers? In India, we have also seen कि we have to preserve our culture and customs. What do we have? And for that, government is taking a lot of steps, right? So that's why you must have seen that it has set up 7 zonal cultural centers across the country, again coming under Ministry of Culture, right? So to preserve and promote folk, tribal and vanishing art forms. You see many times there are different kind of traditional melas, traditional arts which are being organized in different areas of the country, coming under these domain only, right? So ministry also organizes Rashtriya Sanskriti Mahotsav through these zonal councils. कहाँ है? Just glance the states where again we have the zonal councils. Then we have Indian. अरे वो तो अलग जो ये क्या लिखा है? Cultural, zonal cultural centers. Right, then Indian National Center for Ocean Information Services. Again, what's the क्या काम करेगी ये? Ocean Information Service, coming under Ministry of again Earth Sciences, right? Not minerals, Ministry of Earth Sciences, right? So it is basically unit of Earth System Science Organization. What is the task? Basically it provides ocean information and advisory services to society, industry, government agencies and scientific community through sustained ocean observations and constraint improvement through research. Basically, how exactly क्या क्या हो रहा है oceans में? We are seeing ocean water getting polluted, overfishing is happening. So all of these are being controlled over here. But potential fishing zones advisory, tsunami early warning systems, ocean forecast, oral bleaching alert system, all of these are issued by Indian National Center for Ocean Information Services. I am assuming ये बिल्कुल facts है, nothing to maybe discuss in terms of that. Then what is NSG? You must have seen. NSG क्या होती है? Very specialized tasks, maybe military forces, right? So they are constituted. कोई एक particular task होता है. You must have seen. There was, I think, right. So again, these are the bodies which are specialized, very high, zero error forces. Right, that is why it was in news. So government is setting up NSG hub in Ayodhya with 6 other NSG hubs functional in Mumbai, Chennai, Kolkata, Hyderabad, Ahmedabad and Jammu. That is why it is in news. Right, so basically zero error force are there on the lines of same हमारा जैसे NSG है, UK में क्या है? SAS, Germany में we have GSG9, right? That's the basic idea. Right, coming under Ministry of Home Affairs. Then we have Enforcement Directorate. What is ED? आप देख रहे होगे recently there have been a lot of raids which are being conducted by Enforcement Directorate. So basically tackling the problem of money laundering in our country. So ED has reported conviction rate of 94% under Prevention of Money Laundering Act and helped recovered 34,000 crores for victims. So that is how you must have seen. What's the meaning of conviction rate? You must have seen many times investigations are happening, but they are not getting convicted. and they are still under trials, right? In maybe in the matters of prevention of corruption, that is one of the problem. Ki we are just investigating, but due to pendency of cases, they are not getting convicted, and that's how they are misusing their powers. And that's why the 94 conviction rate is a very good step with respect to how we are. 94%? Huh. 94% under which act? Under Prevention of Money Laundering Act only. हाँ हाँ हाँ. केस्ड पैरेट, केस्ड पैरेट सीबीआई को बोलते हैं, हम सीवीसी को बोलते हैं कि आपने, और एनएचआरसी की बोलते हैं. व्हाट इज द आइडिया ऑफ केस्ड पैरेट? कि यू हैव नॉट गिवन देम पावर्स टू डू समथिंग. लेट्स से एनएचआरसी का क्या काम है? ह्यूमन राइट का वायलेशन बता देगा, एक्शन ले सकती है क्या? नहीं ले सकती है. दैट इज कॉल्ड एज केस्ड पैरेट. कि यू हैव गिवन समथिंग बट नॉट पावर्स टू बाइट, राइट? देन coming under Department of Revenue, Ministry of Finance, headed by again a rank of Additional Secretary of Government of India. So basically investigation of money laundering cases and foreign exchange laws, right? And then what are the acts which they are covering? PMLA Act of 2002, Foreign Exchange Management Act, Fugitive Economic Offenders Act. You must have seen there has been an offender which has been there in UK since long. Then sponsoring agencies of Basic COFA Act. Then we have Border Security Force, BSF. What is their task? क्या करती है? Yes, management of borders. Specifically after this whole 1965 war, we created this Border Security Forces. So it has two tasks. एक होती है कुछ काम करते हैं peace time के. For example, कोई there are some kind of smuggling happening across the borders और security border areas पे है, वो हो गया उनके peace time का काम. और during time of war, they also maybe provide services attack, maybe that's the wartime services which they are giving, coming under Ministry of Home Affairs. Then we have territorial army. What is the concept of territorial army? Let's say there are people who are not in army, let's say common people like us, so they are trained if and maybe at certain situations they are called upon to provide and assist military in their function. These are called as territorial army. So recently the Chief of Armed Forces has told कि please go and explore the feasibility of taking people from territorial army. That is why it was in news. So basically there क्या है? Unlike full-time soldiers, these are civilians who take out of their time and regulate for the regular jobs and train and serve the country in the time of requirement, right? So they are basically second line of defense. So that's the basic functions. Eligible कौन है? कोई भी Indian citizen, graduate होना चाहिए, and he should be gainfully employed. Also basic criteria are there. Then again they have altogether helped us in the 1962 war, 65 war में, 671 war में, all such things are there. Then we have National Security Advisory Board. You must have seen we have a body name of National Security Council. So basically it is assisting them in terms of providing any information whatever they are requiring. That is a basic idea, mandate of this particular board. Then we have Indian Olympic Association, very important. India is going or maybe proposing, कब हम Olympics host करने की बात कर रहे हैं? 2036, and that's why there has been constitution of different kind of bodies in order to, maybe आपने बात करा होगा, I think we have discussed many times that sports administration is not well in a country. So again a committee was set up by again the chairmanship of Bindra. So he was basically given the task to tell how exactly we can improve the sport administration and how can India become good enough to host the Olympics in 2036, and that's why it is important. So again Indian Olympic Association is one of the bodies which is again established in 1927 by Sir Dorabji Tata and A.G. Noheran, and it is basically a non-profit organization coming under Societies Registration Act of 1960. So governing body for Olympic movement and Commonwealth Games, and not only Olympics but also Commonwealth Games, fact hai, right? So they are affiliated member of IOC, Commonwealth, Association of Olympic Committees. So they oversees representation of athletes or teams participating in Olympic Games, Commonwealth Games, Asian Games, and it is basically headed by the President of India. ठीक है, ये news में है काफी last year because of the whole boxing issue and federation over there. That's why it is one news. हम डिस्कस करेंगे आपके क्वेश्चंस को. Then what is Capacity Building Commission of India? Basic capacity building is commission what? Basically for civil servants, in order to improve their capacity, there has been a commission with the name of Capacity Building Commission, right? So members कौन है देख लीजिए. काम क्या करती हैं? Preparing an annual state of civil services report, exercising functional supervision over training institutions. That's the basic idea. Coming under Department of Personnel and Training, DOPT के अंदर आती है. That's the basic purpose of this. Then we have NCRB, National Crime Records Bureau. क्या काम करती है? ये आप यूज करोगे अपने मेंस आंसर्स में. वेरी गुड. ऑल इंपॉर्टेंट डेटा फैक्ट्स कि कितने रेप केसेस हैं, कितने क्राइम्स हो रहे हैं हमारे कंट्री ऑन डिफरेंट कैटेगरीज. दिस इज अ बॉडी विच इज कलेक्टिंग ऑल सच डेटा, and these reports are basically helping government to frame policies over those directions. That's the basic idea. हाँ. So coming under Ministry of Home Affairs, right? Again, it was based on the recommendation of which committee? Tandon Committee. So data repository है, national warehouse है, all criminals के fingerprints के records, all such things. Coordination between all the networkings of all the network agencies and publications of different kind of statistics, data and reports. Then we have Solar Energy Corporation of India. You must have seen कि we have a target of solar energy production. That is how much? PM Surya Ghar भी question आ चुका UPSC में ये. So basically this is the body which is implementing the whole idea of National Solar Mission of Government of India, and coming under basically Navratna Central Public Sector Undertaking under Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. Again, designated renewable energy implementing agency for basic all such schemes. So basically जितने भी solar schemes हो रहे हैं under National Solar Mission, it comes under the Solar Energy Corporation of India. That's a basic idea. I understand ये सारे facts हैं, nothing to explain over here, but at least go through them. It is going to help you to solve either one statement or maybe negate out one statement in the examination. Yes. देखो, maybe if you're asking how to remember ministries, फिर yes, exceptional cases. Exceptional, he's asking basically कि how to remember ministries, कि there are some ministries, अगर मान लीजिए कि women issue है तो technically हमें क्या दिमाग में आएगा कि women and child development का ही होगा, but there are certain exceptions कि कुछ ministries होती हैं जो education department करती है, even it is for women and children. So again, as of now, there are certain type of questions which you have to prepare for the examination. कि ला लीजिए कि they will give you the name of some portals, कि ये portal है और AI is in news. So there are different kind of AI portals created by Government of India. They give you the name of species, right? They give you the name of government schemes, and that's how you can read them, revise them. Election Commission, I think it was not covered in the document, but again, very important body this year for the examination, because elections is a topic since last 2 years and questions have not been asked. So you can expect questions on Election Commission also. Read the bodies, just revise them. It is going, देखो ratify नहीं करना, don't ratify anything in the examination for as of now. Just revise, multiple revision plus solving questions. Unless and until you can find out ki how can questions be framed from the topics that I have read, it is going to help the purpose. That's why I came up with certain questions which has been asked from the topic. Nothing has been asked beyond this till now, but questions around those themes could be there in the papers of examination, right? So all the very best and thank you so much. Keep on preparing for the examination, keep writing tests. Tests are the only way in which you can successfully clear the prelims examination. Good luck, all the very best. आएगा मेल आपको.
Every UPSC result proves one thing quietly. Success does not begin at the final stage. It begins much earlier with the kind of foundation a student builds. The UPSC CSE 2025 result makes that visible again. 10 candidates in the top 100 prepared through the Vision IAS GS Foundation Classroom course, including AIR 5 Nishan Bhatnagar. That kind of result is not built on motivation alone. It is built on the right sequence, the right guidance and the right correction. This is what the Vision IAS Delhi GS Foundation course is designed for. Concept first classroom learning, so preparation is not scattered. Early answer writing and testing, so improvement starts on time. PT 365 and Mains 365, so current affairs become usable in the exam. And mentorship that keeps preparation aligned, focused and accountable. Because in UPSC, hard work is common. Structured preparation is what creates separation. If you are targeting UPSC 2027, start by building your base the right way. Vision IAS Delhi GS Foundation course. Upcoming classroom batches at Karol, Bagh, 24th March at 5 p.m., 30th March at 8 a.m. and 7th April at 11 a.m. At GTB Nagar, 17th March at 8 a.m. and 25th March at 6 p.m. Register at our website or call us on the given numbers. The issue with most UPSC aspirants is not effort, it is foundation. A strong foundation means three things. Learn in the right sequence so subjects reinforce each other. Apply early through answer writing and testing. Correct continuously through proper diagnosis and feedback. This is what the GS Foundation course at Vision IAS is built around. Connected GS coverage, not isolated subjects. Early writing and testing, not last-minute panic. Diagnostic test analysis with clear corrective steps. Current affairs organized into usable themes for prelims and mains. Regular mentorship to prevent drift. Effort is common, structure is rare. If you are serious about UPSC, start by getting the foundation right. Upcoming classroom batches: Karol Bagh 9 March 11 a.m., 13 March 8 a.m. and 24th March 5 p.m. And GTB Nagar batches for English 17 March 8 a.m., 25 March 6 p.m. and for Hindi 16 March 11 a.m. For more details, visit our website or call us on the given numbers.
यूपीएससी 2027 का लक्ष्य जितना बड़ा है उसे पाने की योजना भी उतनी ही स्पष्ट और संगठित होनी चाहिए। विजन आईएएस लेकर आया है क्लासरूम फाउंडेशन कोर्स 2027 के 12 से 14 महीनों का एक ऐसा सुव्यवस्थित कार्यक्रम है जहां आपकी तैयारी एक अनुशासित और वैज्ञानिक ढांचे में आगे बढ़ती है। यहाँ क्लासरूम लर्निंग के साथ साथ आपको मिलता है लाइव और रिकॉर्डेड सेशंस का विकल्प, जिसे आप अपने व्यक्तिगत ऑनलाइन पोर्टल के माध्यम से कभी भी और कहीं भी एक्सेस कर सकते हैं। तैयारी के सफर को और भी प्रभावी बनाती है हमारी व्यक्तिगत क्लासरूम मेंटरिंग। हमारे एक्सपर्ट मेंटर्स नियमित मार्गदर्शन और स्मार्ट स्टडी मैनेजमेंट के जरिए आपकी तैयारी को एक सही दिशा और गति प्रदान करते हैं। शैक्षणिक दृष्टिकोण से देखें तो यह कोर्स मुख्य परीक्षा के सामान्य अध्ययन के चारों प्रश्न पत्रों, सीसेट और निबंध का व्यापक कवरेज सुनिश्चित करता है। विषयों की समसामयिक समझ विकसित करने के लिए मासिक करंट अफेयर्स मैगजीन और रिवीजन क्लासेस के साथ साथ PT 365 और मेंस 365 की विशेष कक्षाएं भी इस कार्यक्रम का अनिवार्य हिस्सा हैं, ताकि स्टैटिक और करंट अफेयर्स के बीच एक सटीक संतुलन बना रहे। तैयारी की गहराई मापने के लिए निरंतर अभ्यास अनिवार्य है, इसलिए डेली असाइनमेंट और साप्ताहिक मिनी टेस्ट के साथ साथ मासिक प्रीलिम्स और मेंस टेस्ट के माध्यम से आपकी प्रगति का निरंतर आकलन किया जाता है। इस कार्यक्रम की शक्ति है हमारी प्रतिष्ठित ऑल इंडिया टेस्ट सीरीज, जिसमें प्रीलिम्स के 35, मेंस के 30, सीसेट के 25 और निबंध के 5 टेस्ट का समावेश है। साथ ही संधान पोर्टल पर 25,000 से अधिक प्रश्नों का विशाल संग्रह आपके अभ्यास और विश्लेषण को और भी सुदृढ़ बनाता है। अब समय है अपनी मेहनत को एक मजबूत, संरचित और निरंतर प्रक्रिया में ढालने का। विजन आईएएस के साथ जुड़े और यूपीएससी 2027 की अपनी सफलता की राह को एक स्पष्ट दिशा दें।
Prelims is in 3 months. This is where preparation shifts, not from studying to stopping, but from expanding to consolidating. At this stage, what matters most is strengthening core areas, fixing weak zones, analyzing mistakes deeply, stabilizing mock scores, refining your attempt strategy. That is exactly where the Lakshya Prelims Mentoring Program plays a decisive role, offering structured direction, performance correction, and continuous guidance when execution matters the most. Starting from 23rd February, Lakshya supports this critical phase with a focused revision roadmap, personalized tests and competitive quizzes, 25,000 plus curated Sandhan questions, data-driven performance analytics, mentor guidance till the exam. Lakshya is not about studying more, it's about executing better with expert guidance. To know more or register, visit our website or call us on the given numbers. You're ready to face prelims head-on, because prelims is not just about knowledge, it's about performance under pressure. That's where Abhyas, the All India Prelims, GS plus CSAT mock test comes in. Designed as a true exam simulation, Abhyas recreates the real UPSC. Prelims experience the same pattern, the same time constraints, and the same intensity. It places you in a national arena, competing with aspirants across India, backed by an all-India ranking that reveals your true standing. Attempted by 1 in 3 top 50 rankers, Abhyas has become a trusted benchmark for serious aspirants. With detailed post-test analysis, live discussions, and complete syllabus coverage in both English and Hindi, it ensures your preparation is not just extensive but exam-ready. 3 full-length offline simulations will be conducted across 100+ cities on 5th April, 19th April, and 10th May, from 9:30 am to 11:30 am for General Studies, that is Paper 1, and 2:30 pm to 4:30 pm for CSAT, that's Paper 2. Challenge your preparation, test your performance. For more information or register, visit our website or call us on the given number.
All serious aspirants are able to solve polity, economy, and geography questions in the prelims. But when it comes to ancient and medieval history and art and culture, everyone stands on the same platform. Whether you are a fresher or a repeater, attempts don't matter here. Most aspirants end up guessing answers, relying on vague recall, and finally getting stuck in a dicey zone near the cutoff. And it is exactly here where margins matter, that marks are lost or gained. To create a clear edge over the cutoff, Vision IAS Prelims Speed Up is for you. The real challenge with history and culture is not effort but direction. Multiple sources, overlapping facts, confusing timelines, and factual overload make these subjects risky. UPSC further complicates things by framing indirect elimination-based questions where partial knowledge often backfires. As a result, even well-prepared aspirants hesitate at crucial moments. Prelims Speed Up is designed as a 20-day last-mile score booster to solve this exact problem. Instead of broad coverage, the program focuses only on high-grade areas that UPSC repeatedly asks in ancient history, medieval history, and art and culture. The emphasis is on conceptual clarity, chronology, and intelligent linkage, so facts finally start making sense together. With concept-driven classes, the course tells you what to remember, what to ignore, and how to apply. Structured daily practice and tests train your mind for elimination, helping you avoid traps and guess less. The Smart Source consolidated content removes the burden of multiple books and speeds up the revision. In just 20 focus classes for ancient and medieval history and art and culture, Prelims Speed Up converts static confusion into scoring confidence. If you want to move from cutoff anxiety to cutoff safety in Prelims 2026, this program gives you that decisive edge. Join today to get this